lawyers.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Monday, January the 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 70. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, Go 24/7's Shea Dixon stops by at 7:30. Our latest weekend winners at 8, and Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger at 8:30. Follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. You can watch live at the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. And make sure you can subscribe to the Off the Bench and Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. Hour number 1 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and at it, 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria. Online at 1045ESPN.com. If you are watching on YouTube this morning, don't let your eyes deceive you. That is a brand new blue pullover your boy got for Christmas.
It is slightly fresher color.
Compliments of Carriages of Baton Rouge.
Maybe a different shade, but definitely a little more royal, but also definitely just a fresher color. You can tell it hasn't been through the wash 7,000 times just yet.
3 years of washing. Twice a week. Good to see you, T. Till 2021.
Yeah, man.
2020 in the books. Musso, Danny. Shout out to Troy LaBeouf.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Troy LaBeouf, for filling in the last 6 shows that were live here on Off the Bench. Appreciate his time, energy, and effort for the last 2 weeks. It's good to be back with you. Driven and powered just like we are every single day by All-Star Toyota. We'll recap the recruiting weekend coming up here on OTB. LSU swinging and missing on Saturday. We'll talk to Shea Dixon from Go 247 about where the Tigers go now with National Signing Day coming up in February. We'll also recap some of the coaching changes, some of the names being kicked around over at LSU with Shea coming up at 7:30 this morning. 8:30, Dellinger, Ross Dellinger, will stop by and recap some of the college football news. Tons to get to. Tom Herman's out in Austin. Steve Sarkisian is in at the University of Texas. He's staying and coaching the national championship game with Alabama. We'll talk all about it with Dellinger. Weekend winners coming up at 8 a.m. this morning. You got one? Jump inside of the Bayou Ford chat app, which is open and operating over on YouTube. Just drop a hashtag weekend winner. We'll mention it coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We definitely will mention Justin Jefferson for what he accomplished yesterday in his rookie season in the NFL. We'll mention it inside of headlines and tell you about it inside of weekend winners. T, how we feeling?
I'm feeling great. There's almost too much to get to, which is a great place to be. I mean, we got a huge Pelicans game tonight even. You got SEC basketball in the docket. I mean, the news cycle is up and rolling. I'm just disappointed on the last show that I did here that I didn't make any see you next year jokes. But you know what?
We didn't know.
I'm not going to sit here and lament lost opportunities because we are back. It's 2021. Your boys already de-Christmas-fied the house. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start this new year off with a bang. Let's get into it.
Headlines. Here they are on this Monday, January 4th, 2021.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. They're your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Barbecue Guys, helping America host better barbecues since 1998.
Eyes were peeled yesterday to the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Drew Brees threw for 201 yards and 3 scores, and the Saints had 5 takeaways, 5 interceptions as they routed Carolina 33-7 without their top 2 running backs and fullback to wrap up the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. The Saints will host the 7th-seeded Chicago Bears in the wild card round next weekend. This will be a Sunday kickoff at 3:40. That's big news right around Alvin Kamara, who missed yesterday's game due to COVID concerns. Here was Sean Payton yesterday speaking post-game about his running back, Ty Montgomery, who stepped in. Montgomery rushed for 105 yards on 18 carries yesterday because New Orleans didn't have a running back in sight.
It's credit to him. We had a little cram course yesterday, and everyone understood it was going to be a little longer practice. Guys knew that, and his versatility is unique, and that's something we were very fortunate to have today.
Yeah, look, we'll get into this more later, but this entire year for the Saints has just been defined by the next man up mentality, by overcoming adversity. And as Nick Underhill pointed out, in a season where Mike Thomas, Drew Brees, and Alvin Kamara have played a total of 10 quarters together, that's it. The Saints just finished 12-4 as the 2 seed and swept the NFC South for the first time ever. I mean, if that doesn't speak to the job that not only Sean Payton, but just the organization is doing top to bottom, I don't know what more can drive it home. Maybe just look at Sunday's box score, where Ty Montgomery is the leading rusher. And then on defense, what's his name? I have a Micah Haley. Nikki Haley.
Haley.
A practice squad quarterback leads the team in tackles, has a pick and a pass breakup. I mean, this team, no matter what has been thrown their way, they found a way to get it done, and now it's playoff time. And I have never waited on the edge of my seat for an announcement of scheduled, like when the game would be played, as much as I did to celebrate hearing that the Saints would play Sunday, meaning Alvin Kamara could likely return Sunday if he remains asymptomatic.
CD Deuce too, right?
Yes, I believe so. Both of them were hanging in the balance. Had it been Saturday game due to the COVID protocols, they would have not had any chance of playing.
I mean, arguably, that's your 2 best players.
They've been there at times for sure this year. He's Kamara for sure on offense.
Emmanuel Sanders, first-year New Orleans Saint, needed 8 catches on Sunday to reach an incentive clause in his contract worth $500,000 for catching 60 passes this season. Yesterday, he caught 9. As Sanders got that $500,000, he'll be a part of today's weekend winners as well. Here's Sean Payton talking about the Super Bowl run that the Who Dat Nation is about to approach.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to have that opportunity. We always know it's going to be competitive in each of the rounds. It's with 7 teams this year, there'll be a lot of good football games next weekend. And again, we feel like we're fortunate enough to be in the tournament. And that's all when you start the season, you start with winning your division and then the best seed you can possibly get, and we kind of go from there.
Sunday, 3:40 inside the Dome. Saints will host the Chicago Bears in front of a rowdy 3,000 fans. NFL yesterday, the Green Bay Packers drummed the Chicago Bears to capture the number 1 seed in the NFC. That leaves the number 3 Seattle Seahawks hosting the LA Rams on Saturday at 3:40. The Washington football team will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 7:15 on Saturday night. On the AFC side, Kansas City got the bye as the 1 seed. The Bills are the 2 seed, taking on the number 7 seeded Indianapolis Colts Saturday at noon. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Cleveland Browns Sunday at 7:15. That's from NFL news. We'll tell you more coming up here on Off the Bench. LSU football. Cincinnati defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman is expected to interview for the DC position that's open on LSU's staff. That's according to Cincinnati sports reporter Brandon Soho. He spent some time down here at WBRZ before taking the job up there in Cincinnati. Freeman took the DC job on Luke Fickell's staff at Cincinnati in 2017. We'll wait and see on some of the news. We'll talk to Shea Dixon about that coming up at 7:30 this morning, but a lot of news, flurry of news around the LSU football team this weekend, including senior linebacker Jabril Cox announcing Sunday night that he is out. He'll be foregoing the rest of his eligibility. He's entering the NFL draft. Outside linebacker Andre Anthony, who was the sack leader on this year's past team, announced that he will be returning to the team for his extra year of eligibility due to COVID-19. LSU starting offensive guard Ed Ingram announced Saturday night he's coming back for his senior season. Ingram is the 3rd starter in the offensive line to announce that he's coming back, joining center Liam Shanahan, offensive guard Chasen Hines. On the other side of the ball, defensive lineman Ali Gay, Neil Farrell Jr. also announced that they're coming back for the 2021 season. Zach Von Rosenberg last night said he's leaving.
Yeah, so you didn't get Tristan Lee, which everybody was hoping for that second signing day, but on the whole, they've done a spectacular job of re-recruiting the players that they needed to re-recruit. Like somebody like Von Rosenberg, sure, that's a hit, but It's not wholly unexpected. Jabril Cox, definitely not unexpected. I mean, he came here with the sole reason of just trying to bump up his stock one more year before he eventually went on to the NFL. Makes sense that he would test the waters. But getting Ed Ingram back, Liam Shanahan, Hines, I mean, in a year where...
They also picked up a 3-star offensive lineman, Kimo McAnally, over the weekend, who was committed to Florida State and then jumped aboard on LSU's offensive line list with James Craig and the crew. We'll talk to Shea about him coming up.
So just as important as adding Kimo, and they still need to add to that class further, is getting these guys to come back. The value there for this LSU team is huge, as just based on how the season ends, it looks like the offensive line will be the main question mark because you look pretty damn strong everywhere else. And look, getting Ali Gay back, it was a good job re-recruiting the players.
Pacers are at the Pelicans tonight. Indiana is visiting the 4-2 Birds as New Orleans has played well to start the season. They got a win over the weekend versus Toronto for the 4th of the year. Here's Stan Van Gundy talking after the victory.
Look, I thought overall it was probably our worst defensive game of the year. We didn't do a great job getting back. We didn't do a good job keeping the ball out of the paint. So we could have been better, but you're right, down the stretch, we played good defense. We made shots tough, and we did a good job down the stretch. So when we needed it, we got it. Actually, when we got back and got set, we weren't awful defensively. We weren't great, but we weren't awful. But in transition, I just didn't think we did a very good job tonight. But it's good to be able to come in and talk about that tomorrow and watch film and coming after a win.
120-116 winners for New Orleans over Toronto Saturday night. Brandon Ingram had 31. Eric Bledsoe had 19 and 10 on Saturday night. They'll tip it off at 7 o'clock from the Smoothie King Center tonight versus the Pacers.
Don't look now. New Orleans Pelicans, 4-2, 5th seed in the West, swept the Toronto Raptors. Whew. The Pacers, 4-2, 2nd seed in the East, so a nice little measuring stick for the Pelicans tonight. Danny, did you pay any attention to this? Did you watch all of Pelicans' Twitter completely lose their mind after the Suns game?
No, I didn't see that.
I mean, you would have thought that the entire experiment had failed. Stan Van Gundy's horrible. David Griffin's horrible. Look, everybody, it's basketball season. There's a lot of ups and downs here. But to me, sitting here in 4-2, look, I've watched this team for a long time. I'm used to starting the season like 1-13, maybe 0-9, and then
the start's been the worst part.
I mean, every year, and then you're trying to claw back desperately all year long. 4-2, oh my God, it feels good. And we'll talk more about Brandon Ingram. Because when you are forced to trade a disgruntled all-star, you're not supposed to get another all-star
younger
in return. Younger and maybe even more well-positioned for the modern NBA. And yet that's exactly what you got in Brandon Ingram. So more on that later in the OT hour.
KD 2.0.
Yeah,
Ingram.
yeah, now we're talking.
Averaging 24 per game through the first 6. Is it Marcus Brogdon?
Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon. Sorry, that's your boy from
yeah, he went
Georgia.
to JC, went to my high school.
Leading scorer for the Indiana Pacers, coming in averaging 22 points tonight.
Yeah.
LSU basketball over the weekend fell to Florida 83-79 Saturday afternoon inside the Stephen O'Connell Center on Billy Donovan Court. Cameron Thomas led the way for LSU, scoring 28 points, had 3 steals. Trenton Watford had 21 with 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Javonte Smart had 20 points of his own. LSU will host Georgia at the PMAC on Wednesday night. I'll be on the SEC Network, 6 o'clock tip-off. Love that. All right, those are your headlines. What's trending here? Daily brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Good to be back here. As we will talk to Shea Dixon about the recruiting weekend in 15 minutes. We'll also talk college football. Ross Dellinger, Alabama back in the national championship. Not taking on the team expected, maybe? Did you expect Ohio State to be on the other side?
If we would like to call my little brother, I told him before the game that I thought Ohio State would win.
Okay.
Not in that fashion. I thought it'd be more like a battle, but yeah, look, the two teams facing off the national championship, you may see this a bit more over the next few years if you look at this year's recruiting rankings, as Ohio State and Alabama clean up there as well.
Recap 2021, the way it started here on Off the Bench. We come back, All-Star Toyota driving us through.
OTB headlines are presented daily by Barbecue Guys. Remember, the most popular grill on the market is Blaze Grills. Blaze Grills is headquartered in Baton Rouge. Shop on the web at barbecueguys.com. Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Daily brought to you by Lanois Insurance, LANOIX agency.com. Great to have the boys aboard for another year here. Always appreciate their support. Randy, Brian, and David, best in the business as far as building relationships with you, the customer, and then taking care of all of your insurance needs, whether it is auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance, or flood insurance. Let the Lanois take care of your policy today. If you're looking for a free quote, call them this morning, 749-5640. Online, LANOIX agency.com.
LanoisAgency.com, LanoisAgency.com for all of your insurance needs. Hit up the Lanois. Put my older sister in touch with BG now that she's living in the South Louisiana area. He's taking care of her. Get yourself taken care of with Lanois. They'll customize a policy to match your specific needs. They're there for you when you need them. When you have to file a claim, they're actively working your best behalf. Small business owner, bundle your home, bundle your auto, flood insurance. It's a one-stop shop. LanoisAgency.com, LanoisAgency.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Inair.com.
You think you should get to know your attorney before you make the important decision of who should represent you? The insurance companies know that, and know if they don't settle for full value, the lawyers at Murphy Law Firm will fight for you. Visit murphylawfirm.com and
it's going to do right by you.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without
your
the
lawn
diehard
looking its
fans.
best.
So we're
Winter is
highlighting
the
the
easiest
fans
time to
that do
lay
it the
grass
most.
sod. Let quality
Every
sod
week,
help you
1045
select
ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
225
Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals.
Today you can
have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different
in town,
is that we
along
use
with
those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's
Mario
hospital.
Perez here, wishing everybody a happy new year from all of us at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tune in to After Further Review Monday, January 4th as Matt Moscona is back in the host chair. AFR Monday at 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, good to be back. Once again, many thanks to Troy LaBeouf, good friend of the show, for taking care of Off the Bench while we were away. Last 6 shows, Troy was in the host seat, so we appreciate him taking care of all that was happening.
I've never had a vacation that long. It was wild.
During that time, and there was a ton of news that was popping every day. I mean,
I was like, I'll take the Monday show, recap the LSU season, and then things should slow down a bit. And then the next day, you had the coaching changes, right? I mean, you get the re-recruitment stuff. You obviously have the college football playoffs, the NFL, a ton.
Recruiting. I mean, just everything that was going on during that time. So appreciate that. We will get to weekend winners coming up here in a couple of minutes. We did leave out one story inside of headlines that definitely will be mentioned inside of the weekend winners, and that's Justin Jefferson, who yesterday needed to get 111 yards receiving to set a rookie record, and he did that. He was successful as he had as his 7th 100-yard game yesterday for Minnesota, putting him at 1,400 yards for the season, which ranks him second all-time behind Houston's Bill Groman, who holds the rookie record at 1,473, set back in 1960.
How about Bill?
Seriously. He broke records that were set by Anquan Bolden and Randy Moss on Sunday.
Yeah.
So Justin Jefferson with a just phenomenal
really makes you think just
season.
how good that LSU football team was that won the national championship. Also, it does make you think, too, like, is Jamar Chase really better than Justin Jefferson? Because that's something that everybody would have accepted as pretty undeniable fact, right, at the end of the 2019 football season. That's a slight against neither, because obviously both are incredible. But, I mean, Jefferson has set the bar very high for Chase here in year number 1, and we haven't seen Chase play football in a while. So be interested to see what he can do next year, if he can maybe challenge Jefferson for that throne. But, yeah, hell of a job by Justin Jefferson.
Saw a mock draft over the weekend that had Chase going to Los Angeles to the Chargers with Justin Herbert.
Oh, okay. There you go. That would be one way to do it. What did you think about the coaching changes? I mean, that was the big news that hit immediately after we gotten off the air. Now LSU involved in multiple coaching searches.
I think it wasn't unexpected from the people that were paying attention to anybody that was following LSU football throughout the season. The last couple of weeks, you could feel the momentum building towards coaching changes on the horizon. We said on Whiskey and Wine following the Ole Miss game that I only believe that the only coaches that were safe on staff were Kevin Falk, Corey Raymond, and Mickey Joseph. I still feel like that. I still today feel. I know that there's other members on staff still. I still think that there will be shakeup on this staff before they get to spring football. I think that you're looking at a total overhaul for this staff, and I think that there's many reasons behind that. Obviously, first and foremost would be the lack of production, the lack of development in 2020, and then when you look at the future of LSU football and the stability of it, I think that there is a piece of Ed Orgeron that is coaching for the longevity of his job next season, and I think a lot of that depends on the guys around him. And from what LSU did not accomplish in 2020, it looks like they need new messengers.
Well, look, I think it's clear that this staff did not maybe handle success the best way. But if you just look at the resume, there is no one and has been no one better at dealing with adversity than Ed Orgeron. I mean, right, when you look at taking over in the 2 interim spots, going from the Troy loss to a national championship and New Year's 6 win just in a couple of years. Obviously sitting there at 3-5, staring down Eric Gilbert leaving, a Florida game where it looked like you had no chance of winning, and you go out there, you win that, and you beat Ole Miss. You manage to finish 5-5. You put together a really nice signing day. So LSU's already starting, or they had already begun to right the ship. And then what's something that we talked about? There was a clear problem, not just with any individuals. I mean, definitely with individuals as well, but there was a problem just overall with the LSU staff in terms of how it was made up. Mm-hmm. It was too old. There wasn't that much connection with the players. And now it looks like they are, again, that's the next piece, right? So they got the 5-5 record. They got the good sign. They made some coaching departures happen. And now the next piece is avoiding the same hiring mistakes that landed you here in the first place. And that's why I see some people on Twitter kind of saying like, oh, come on, man, I want some news. Where's the news? What's going on with the coaching search? I don't want news. Take all the time in the world that you need. Both signing days are done. Do your due diligence. Avoid just falling in love and diving into something that you maybe should not have without doing your full research. And make sure that you get it right, because you cannot miss, like Jordy said. Although there have been very positive moments over the last couple of weeks, the ship is by no means fully righted. You're not where you want to be, and these hires will ultimately determine whether or not you get back to the championship caliber team or whether it looks more like the kind of haphazard nature of this season. And so you must get these right. Take your time. I have no problem if this process starts to extend over the next month or so.
There was a piece of news that popped over the weekend outside of on-the-field coaches, but a administrative role that's being turned over within the LSU football program, and that's Sam Nader, who, if you follow LSU football, if you've been a part of LSU football, if you're like T-Bob, who have played for LSU football, you know that Sam Nader does everything for the program. He does everything from booking the travel to setting up official recruiting visit weekends to game day operations, to really and truly just kind of being the godfather, the grandfather of the program, and helping people throughout the day, throughout the way of being an LSU football player. It was brought to the attention and reported by Football Scoop that Nader was possibly going to retire, and that Austin Thomas was being brought back in a role that has yet to be determined on what the scope will be, but it seems like that this is a possible replacement for Nader at that position. It'll be interesting to see where Thomas fits in on the staff, as Football Scoop had it reported as well that Thomas was on the Baylor staff with Dave Aranda last season, and now will be joining Ed Ogeron's staff back at LSU. If you remember when LSU and Ed Ogeron took the job back in 2016, Austin Thomas was a major part of that. In fact, it was Derek Panamsky, Austin Thomas, and Ed Ogeron really who were spearheading the attack of trying to get Ogeron the job full time. So it'll be interesting to see where he fits in now that he's back on staff. AccuTemp brings you.
Well, hold on real quick. I just want to say shout out Coach Nader, man, because he is he's a legend.
He does everything.
I expect that he would never retire, because he's just one of those guys that gave you that feeling that he was going to work until the world ended. My man still does weighted dips in the weight room to this day with the plate on his belt like an absolute beast. Shout out Coach Nader. He's helped literal generations, decades worth of generations of young men kind of find their way through college and through becoming an adult. And I'm sorry for that time when you brought those recruits into my dorm and I was asleep on the couch and there were probably like 100 Natty Light tall boys all over the room. And I apologize for, I don't remember. I apologize for that. Glad that you later re-showed faith in me and allowed me to host recruits. But you're the man, Coach.
Oh boy.
I had to go to some classes for that. That got reported to
AccuTemp brings you off the bench daily here. Remember, take control of
Coach
your
Nader.
comfort zone. AccuTempBR.com is where you can find them online. You can get a free estimate today by calling 926-2243, 926-2243, 225 area code. Air condition, heating, insulation, electrical, and more. AccuTemp of Baton Rouge takes on emergency HVAC and electrical service, repairs, replacements, and routine maintenance for your AC. I remember they came in and gave me the full turnover there in the air conditioned service and the heating, and it is fantastic. Online, AccuTempBR.com. All right, recruiting over the weekend. Big news. LSU had Tristan Lee atop of their board. Lee, it looked like, had been signed to Clemson throughout the entire process, which, to me, that's bad taste. I mean, for as much as these guys put the work, the effort, the time, the energy into recruiting these guys, if you're going to sign with another school, let them know.
Well, let's ask Shea. I don't know. Did they have did I hear that they had an NDA with NBC? because they were supposed to be on that show, and so they had non-disclosure agreements, so they couldn't. Like I don't know. Maybe that's an element there. Thought I heard
Makes
a whiff
sense.
of that.
That would make sense.
That would make sense from like a TV standpoint for sure.
I still think you got to give the communication to the coaching staff that is going over and above, and above to try and get you. You got to tell them that, look, man, the last 3 weeks you've been working, it's been for nothing. I mean, for God's sake. Shea Dixon next.
Off the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Daily, we're brought to you here on OTB by All-Star Toyota. Remember, All-Star Toyota is located on the corner of Goodwood and Airline with brand new 2021 selections for you to choose from. Get over and see Mr. Aaron Piku and his great sales team over there at All-Star Toyota. Remember, All-Star Toyota has great selections of brand new vehicles. If you need pre-owned and certified vehicles to choose from, they've got over 90 on the lot. Online on All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. I saw some family over the holiday break, and you know what they all told me? Wow, T-Bob, your black Toyotas look so badass. And I said, I know. The Toyota Sienna is fantastic. I have 2 daughters. It's been a game changer for the family. I think I blew Grandma's mind. She never knew she wanted a minivan until she drove the Sienna. I'm also leasing the 2020 Camry, and I love it. So see what All-Star Toyota has for you. They got great 2021 deals already. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
Off the bench, hanging with Esther and Annie. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
at All-Star 44.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, for the Monday edition of Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going back to campus. We're going at the original coffee shop in Baton Rouge. That's right, Highland Coffees on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. It's Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Sam Nader started as a graduate assistant at LSU in 1975. He's seen Tiger Stadium expand 4 different times. He has worked out of 4 different office buildings during that time. We will talk more about Nader as Ross Dellinger had a great piece on him at Sports Illustrated a couple of years back named Meet Sam Nader, the man behind LSU's football program the last 45 seasons. He has been there now 46 after this 2020 season, and it was announced by Football Scoop that he was going to be retiring. Austin Thomas coming back to Baton Rouge. When Thomas was here the initial time, he had a lot of responsibility around recruiting. Shea Dixon covers recruiting for Go247 as good as anybody in the business. He is back with us here in 2021. Following, make sure you are a member at 247 Sports. Go247 is National Signing Day approaching here in February. Shea, good morning. Happy New Year, buddy.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Everything to you and to T-Bob and to everybody over at the studio.
You got a good Sam Nader story? You've been around LSU football for a while.
Oh, man, usually he's everywhere. That's what everybody always says, right, is that he's all over the place. And I can remember in my early days, we would be roaming back whenever the media could go on the sideline at football games and recruits could actually visit during the game light years ago. I would be roaming around. This is probably right after college. God, this is 15 years ago or something. And the NCAA would put in a rule that, you can't, if a kid's on campus on a visit, you couldn't talk to him, even though I could talk to T-Bob or whoever's on the visit, on the phone or whenever. But once he's actually checked into his visit and on campus, I'm not supposed to be talking to him. Well, let's say I would bump into T-Bob or whoever on the sidelines and, hey, man, what's up, man? How's it going? But I would be thinking in my head, okay, there's 5,000 people out here, but if Sam Nader happens to see me, I'll get in trouble. So don't do anything. Shea, don't do it. What's up, T-Bob? How you been? And then right out of nowhere, hadn't seen Sam all day. Shea, you're not supposed to be talking to the kids. Well, busted. So, yes, he's kept a good eye on LSU football for every angle for a long time.
Titled the grandfather of the program, it seems fitting with the
Godfather.
The news there. Austin Thomas could be coming back or is coming back. Still yet to be determined on his role. You got any insight, or do you have a feeling on where he may fit in on his second stint at LSU?
I mean, I think from all I've heard, it's that GM title again, which is something that we saw him and a handful of others sort of pioneer in terms of adding what's really become these like not shadow staffs, but building out your staff more like an NFL program would, which Ed Orgeron's been a huge proponent of. He hired Austin Thomas and put him into that GM role before. He's now bringing him back. He's built up this huge pool of analysts with guys who've been in the NFL for a long time, a lot of guys who are up-and-comers. So I think that it'll probably be one of those roles where you oversee and have a hand in a bit of everything that comes with kind of helping manage and run a football program and the football operations building. And certainly that'll mean recruiting as well as, roster management, which is I don't think it's like random that we're hearing about Austin Thomas coming back in a year where Orgeron, or at least a few months, where he's talked about roster management being paramount, about recruiting being continuing to be as important as certainly Orgeron's made it to be. And after sort of, I don't think LSU's at a real crossroads here, but from winning a national championship to going 5-5 and having a lot of guys during the season opt out, and now having a lot of guys actually saying, hey, look, I am coming back. I think a guy like Austin Thomas can only help. I mean, it's another person who understands how the dynamic of a college football team should work. And And for Orgeron, I think it's another guy that he certainly trusts and has been around the program to know that he can come in and isn't starting from scratch, that he knows a lot of the guys, not just on the team, but on the coaching staff and certainly in that football ops building.
Shea Dixon talking recruiting here with us on Off the Bench, powered every day by All-Star Toyota. So some news over the weekend comes in the sense of recruiting as LSU is watching and waiting on information from Tristan Lee, Corey Foreman, Jordan Gilbert. All three of that news is negative. They do get positive news from a one-time Florida State commit. I know I'm going to butcher this. You can help me out on this. Kimo Makanole, who joined LSU staff. What was your recap of the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it started right before, I guess, Saturday and everything. Like you said, Kimo Makanole commits, and that gives them a second offensive lineman, and they had only signed one in December in Ross Dellinger. Makanole is a kid who can really play a few spots for you. He is versatile, coming out of Florida, and he's got some really good senior film. This is a nice pickup for them, and the thought would be that you still need more, right? You know, even two offensive linemen wouldn't be enough. And we went into the weekend, and I think by now, right, that everyone knew, look, Tristan Lee, Corey Foreman, and then Jordan Gilbert, but certainly those first two were guys we had talked about for a really long time as national targets for them. We're starting to trend away from LSU. We hadn't heard the same buzz around Tristan Lee, you know, this past week that we had heard for 6 months ago or even, you know, just a handful of months ago. And the same with Corey Foreman. And what we saw in the end was it was a bit cyclical for both guys. It was when Corey Foreman's process started out, and the same with Tristan Lee, it was the local team that everyone said was the team to beat. For Lee, it was Clemson. For Clemson, it was Southern Cal. And they ended up, Foreman at one point committed to Clemson, backed off. Both flirted heavily with LSU and with a lot of other teams around the country. But when they had to sit back down with family and go over a final decision, Lee ends up at Clemson, Foreman ends up at USC. Those are the schools closest to their home. And that's not the big shock. I think a lot of people, I'll speak for myself, I was very surprised that both of those guys, and really Lee, who had kind of really publicly the past few weeks drummed up, you know, which way would he go, and LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, and all these staffs are sort of working overtime across the holidays trying to get him. And soon after he announces his decision, Clemson reveals that he's already signed. And now, look, Corey Foreman said, even in December, I'm probably going to sign somewhere right now, and I'm just going to keep it quiet, and then I'll announce it. But the Tristan Lee camp sort of came out and very matter-of-factly said they weren't signing anywhere and were undecided, and they would let everybody know in February, and instead he makes his announcement in January, and boom, he had already signed. And I think a lot of people said, well, how does that work out? Why are these other teams, how do they not, you know, they don't know that he already signed? Obviously, the only way they would know is if he told them. Clemson and Dabo Swinney keep a lid on it. The Lee camp keeps a lid on it. And I can tell you that LSU, Oklahoma, and Florida staffs were left scratching their heads a bit, thinking, okay, this would have been info that we could have known a month ago and moved on from.
Yeah, look, is there any idea that maybe it was like an NDA with NBC or anything, Shea? Have you heard anything like that?
Well, Tristan Lee's mom mentioned that they signed something that they wouldn't say where they were going, but that's no different than they're not putting them in jail if someone finds out, if they tell college coaches that they're not going to that school.
Yeah.
And it's no different than every other year at the All-American game or the Under Armour game or whatever it might be. I think the sticky spot we've got ourselves in now is a lot of these kids do have the opportunity to sign in December and do have an opportunity to announce in January. And if you want some suspense to it, that just means not telling anybody publicly that, hey, look, I did already sign with a team in December. But also, we saw that sort of handled the right way with a handful of kids in this class who signed in December. That team knew they signed. They didn't really get into the recruiting process further in those next few weeks. And they kind of just say, look, lay low, signing day's over, Christmas comes, New Year's comes, and then I'll reveal my choice. And the other team sort of already knew that they had signed. That wasn't the case with Tristan Lee. So I think that's what kind of caught people by surprise. And we'll see if it really becomes a trend or if this is sort of a one-off in a really odd year of recruiting.
So a few quick ones here to close out, Shea. How many spots are now left?
So they're at, 20 signees from December. They've got 2 commitments in Savion Jones, a DN, a really talented DN out of St. James. I love him. I think he's going to be a great player. And then we talked about Kimo Makaniole, offensive lineman, committing. That gives them 22. So 3 open spots. Steve-Bob, I think, no doubt you're looking at, even with the good news that's rolling in, right, about the O-line, you still don't know what Deculus is doing. You still don't know what Dare Rosenthal's doing. That could be a couple spots that open up. Obviously, Cam Wire can play that tackle spot on either side. But I think they probably still want to find some immediate help there. I would watch Harvard grad transfer Eric Wilson. He's Liam Shanahan's buddy. He was going to go to Auburn, then they fired that staff. It just seems that if things can work out for LSU, that he would be a nice fit for them. But with a few open spots, Brian Thomas is out there, out of Walker, obviously. You've got some other offensive linemen, Jordan Moko, the number 1 offensive tackle in the JUCO level, has LSU in his top 3. So that would be a guy. And then probably just the best available. Do you want another corner since you only signed 1? There's a couple of guys out there. Do you need a safety after missing out on Jordan Gilbert, or do you feel good about the 3 guys you've already got? And I think LSU is going to be doing a lot of sort of self-evaluation over these next couple of weeks as these kids all also announce, hey, look, am I coming back or going pro? That deadline will come up at the middle of the month. And then you get a real feel for what your needs are. And I'll continue to argue, and it's, I don't think I have to argue Ed Orgeron too much on this. He said he'll certainly explore the option of graduate transfers even beyond Eric Wilson, because the NCAA is giving this one-time free waiver to transfer this offseason. And it's a behind door number 2 proposition here. You don't really know what's going to be out there, but if you save one of these spots past February, I would be willing to bet that some immediate help pops into the portal, and it might be at a position you need.
Any impact on this next signing day from the recruiting, from the coaching searches?
You know, I thought about that the other day, and I don't think it'll be that big, right? Because they need some of these final 3 spots, you need some offensive linemen, and they've got James Craig in place, and they're not replacing that spot. So I don't think not having an offensive coordinator is that in play right now is that huge of an issue for 1 or 2 of these O-line targets who know the hire is coming. And then I look at even on defense, do you need another corner? Well, Corey Raymond's there. Do you need a best player available? Ed Orgeron can handle stuff like that. So if they had 12 signees or something, yes, you would be needing to make these hires yesterday and try to get things going. But the fact that you only have a few open spots in the class and a head coach like Ed Orgeron who knows exactly what he's doing in recruiting, I don't think the hires are that big of an issue at all in terms of how they finish out this cycle.
247sports.com is where you can keep up with all the information. Shea Dixon is with us just about every week, updating us before National Signing Day on what the latest is on recruiting. Always appreciate it, Shea. Good to catch up.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Close at hour 1 next.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Daily here on OTB, we are brought to you by Go Roof, GEAUXroof.com. Remember, you can get in touch with Go Roof this morning for a free professional estimate. Get in touch with the crew over there at Go Roof if you need residential, commercial, or roofing repair. Check the rates out online at goroof.com. Dial them up, 927-8300. It's a 225 area code if you're listening. And no matter the listening area, you can dial them up at 225-927-8300. Free professional estimate when you dial that number, or you can get in touch with them for roofing repair, whether it's residential or commercial, online, GEAUXroof.com.
GEAUXroof.com, GEAUXroof.com, 927-8300, 927-8300. When you work at Go Roof, you get that free professional estimate. You don't pay anything up front. You get an idea of what it's like to work with them. Remember, everybody's licensed, bond, insured. They have a 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. What do you wait for? GoRoof.com, GoRoof.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Mario Jerez here, wishing everybody a happy new year from all of us at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tune into After Further Review Monday, January 4th as Matt Moscona is back in the host chair. AFR Monday at 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Derrick Henry joins the 2,000-yard club. We were trying to name the rest of the class in the break. I think we got them. Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, who holds the record, Terrell Davis, Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, O.J. Simpson, and the outlier on the list has to be Jamal Lewis.
Yeah. He's a beast for a minute there.
But Derrick Henry, now the 8th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards. Henry, a Hall of Famer, in y'all's opinion?
I think it's still
pretty
too
early
on. I think
on
it's
here.
still
Still early?
He's on that. He's going the right way.
I mean, he's now the 3rd year in a row where he's the best back in the league.
I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's only the 2nd year in a row he's led the league in rushing, which is, I mean, still.
But
impressive.
3 years ago in the playoffs, we'd all taken him, right?
It's all about, it's all about if you want to make the Hall of Fame being the best player at your position in your generation, right? Mm-hmm. And he certainly looks like he's on that trajectory. And also, he just continues to just look non-normal. He just looks freakish.
That's an interesting argument you bring up, though, the best player at his position in his generation, because the position is different in the NFL now.
But
he's an outlier at that position with how he plays the game.
Because he feels very vintage.
Which could bump him, which could actually make even bump his case up a little more, though, because he is so singular. Although, you're right. I mean,
it depends on what you value at that position. Do you value Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook? Or do you value Derrick Henry, the bruiser? Leonard Fournette, the bruiser.
See, to me, the more awkward thing is going to be how you quantify guys like Alvin Kamara when it's all said and done. Because Derrick Henry, you're pulling from, he is from that old school mold, so you have a comfortability with ranking him. Because you understand what he's like.
Can't we argue that Kamara was the best player in the league outside of the quarterback position this season?
I'd have
definitely
to
be argued.
look into the numbers to really support that argument.
I think the numbers would push it over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I would support it just as someone who watched the Saints team and saw a Saints offense that would have been dead in the water without Alvin Kamara this year, and yet instead they finished 12-4, and certainly getting the NFL record helped him, which, by the way, NFL, y'all suck so much. Did you ever take a draft pick from, who was it that was celebrating? Yeah, did you ever take a draft pick from Pittsburgh for their no-mask celebration? You're going to fine Alvin Kamara for his badass red and green cleats, $5,000 for Christmas Day, and yet you're going to use that all over promotional material because it was an awesome moment when he's doing Snow Angels. I hate you, Roger Goodell. NFL, you suck. The Saints do not, though. Alvin Kamara definitely does not, and I am hyped for the playoffs.
Saints did catch a break with COVID protocol. Kamara out 10 days. The Sunday kickoff puts him outside of the window. He should be suited up and ready to go for the first round of the playoffs wild card weekend as the Saints will host Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears. Sunday in the Dome, your weekend winners coming up here in 3 minutes.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup.
Yeah, go. All right, welcome back here to Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. A little technical difficulty, so Musso can get us to the top of the hour as we were talking coming out of the last break about some of the things that's happening around the New Orleans Saints as they get ready for their wild card weekend. They will be a part of that. With the expanded NFL playoffs, Saints are going to have, I mean, really this is kind of a rule that gets at the Saints with the number 2 seed in the NFC. They would have a bye last season in the playoffs, but this season with the new playoff format, they will be playing and hosting wild card weekend against the Chicago Bears. As we said coming out, Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears will be in town at 3:40 on Sunday, and the Saints actually catch a break here for, and I agree with T-Bob on just the pettiness around the NFL office and dealing with the New Orleans Saints. When you look around and you see locker rooms celebrating all season long, and you got the audacity to take one draft pick away from the New Orleans Saints because of their celebration. I mean, that is nuts. When you just look at the simple makeup of a corporation that could just pinpoint and highlight one team, one area, and go after them like they have done with the New Orleans Saints. Either way, Bears are in town on Sunday, and they'll be taking on New Orleans. This is going to be a game that have all the eyeballs. Chicago hadn't been playing that bad late in the season. Trubisky, of course, is a guy that has been up and down. He's been up lately here for Chicago. So we'll wait and see what he brings to the game. Mike Thomas, we all expect him to play this weekend. He's been on IR for the last couple of weeks, getting that ankle right. Expect him to be a full go. We're filling time here, T. Grab a headset. It's been for Michael Thomas. Of course, he was the 2019 Offensive Player of the Year.
What happened? Back already?
Well,
Are we rolling it straight next hour?
No, we're just doing some time fill before the top of the hour.
Okay, it's a little minute to win it. That's all I need.
I was drowning there for a little bit. You good? All right. 8 o'clock hour coming.
1045 WNXX Jackson, 1049 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Monday, January the 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, sunny skies with a high of 70. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Coming up in hour two, we give you our weekend winners next. Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger stopping by at 8:30. Talk some college football. You can follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Watch the show live at the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel and interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. And while you're there, get subscribed to the Off the Bench and Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Hit the subscribe button and the notifications because new content is posted there daily. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hour two off and at it off the bench, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria. Always driven and powered by All-Star Toyota. Remember, we're online at 1045ESPN.com. Hit us inside of the Bayou Ford chat app. It's good to be back here on OTB. Appreciate the interaction as always. If you're watching and interacting over there on YouTube, we always appreciate it. If you got a weekend winner, hashtag weekend winner, as we will get them read and over the air here shortly as we lead off every Monday morning with your weekend winners. Ross Dellinger going to stop by here in 30 minutes. Give us a little recap of college football. Arik Gilbert in the transfer portal. Any news on where he'll land after his news over the weekend? Tom Herman is out at Texas. Steve Sarkisian is in. We'll ask Dellinger some of the hot coaching rumors on who could be up at LSU. Seems like Marcus Freeman, Cincinnati defensive coordinator. He'll be interviewing for the opening in Baton Rouge, but he's got his sights set on being a head coach. So we'll see if that is a major factor as Ed Ogeron tries to pinpoint his staff changes and replacements here over the next couple of weeks. Hour one in the books. Remember, if you missed it, it's online. 1045ESPN.com. On demand, everything you can find there.
I mean, the takes are hot right now. In the 1045 YouTube chat, Jesse McCormick, Animal Kingdom is the best park at Disney, and it's not even close. I mean, come on. Do you really feel that way? It's cool. It's cool. It's got a lot of positives. Let's not be crazy. As an adult, I might be into Epcot. I know that's not cool when you're a kid, but
the Avatar virtual reality ride I went on, Charles Harvey and I would get off of it and get back in line. We had the weekend had the fast pass, so we were I think.
And that was in Animal Kingdom. That's in Animal Kingdom.
We went on
right?
it 4 straight times.
Wow.
A lot of virtual reality gifts for Christmas. Did anybody see the VRs?
Oh boy, you want to talk about VR, son? I am now a citizen of the digital landscape. I have almost fully foregone all my real-life relationships to spend all of my time in my VR headset. I got an Oculus Quest 2 for Christmas. I think we have finally reached.
That's the one created by Facebook? Heads up. Heads up. Heads up. Heads up.
Facebook bought Oculus a long time ago, and it's been a long road to this point. Look, I've been interested in VR since like 2013, but it was never really consumer-friendly, right?
Good.
You needed major PCs. You needed entire rooms. You need all this stuff. I think a day that I dreamt up for so long, I feel like we have officially reached that consumer tipping point where it's $300. There's no computer. It's all self-contained. I mean, it is right out the box. You grab the controllers, throw it on your head, and you're in. And it is really wild, y'all. It is kind of mind-blowing. It's like Ready Player One type of stuff. So I've got a lot of thoughts that will probably hit at the very end of the OT hour. But, yeah, even last night in bed, I'm laying there with the headset on in my bed watching Pelicans videos on YouTube just because I want to.
Sure you were.
And I can, and I never have to. You can watch a lot of things on that headset. But I just never want to take it off. Like
headset, the in-laws are in the room, T. In-laws are in the room.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah, I mean, you best not be doing that in any sketchy situation because you don't really have a lot of situational awareness. But I definitely now fully understand the dark future where everybody just like accepts living in horrible conditions because you can simply escape to the digital world of your dreams. It's unbelievable.
Best gift from Santa, Musso. What you got?
Join Team Pod. Got some Apple AirPods.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the club,
aboard.
dude.
How about you, Cardenas? What do you give a man that has it all?
I got a framed newspaper of the LSU national championship.
Okay.
And I'm getting a Saints one as well.
Glory days.
09, yeah.
Glory days. T for you as a virtual.
Yeah, I think the VR headset, and I got a nice tournament travels chess set.
Hey, man, you made it a whole hour and 5 minutes.
Still very into chess, by the way. What about you?
I'd go with the blue pullover.
Okay.
It's a good look.
Stepping the game up. Just stepping outside of the box, thinking a little different here in 2021, boys. Different shade of blue. Here are your weekend winners every Monday morning on OTB.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that? Win the whole thing.
Weekend winner. My first weekend winner, as we mentioned, Justin Jefferson inside of headlines. Jefferson entering week 17. He had 1,267 receiving yards. He needed 111 to break the rookie record for most by a wide receiver in a Super Bowl era. Yesterday, he had 9 grabs going over 100 yards for the 7th time, which put him at 1,400 yards. The first rounder now ranks second all time in rookie receiving yards, as he's got 1,400. The initial record was set back in 1960. So shout out to Justin Jefferson on his rookie season. That is just a shining light for the St. Rose native and former LSU standout.
Danny, you got Emmanuel Sanders on your list?
I mean, I
better. Somebody has to.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. Okay, I don't want to steal every day because I got 1,000 of them. But we'll start with Emmanuel Sanders. What did he need? 9 catches?
8. Yes. No, he
needed
needed
8 catches
9.
going into yesterday. So Emmanuel Sanders said there are 52 catches. Nice season, whatever, right? Missed a couple games. Why were those 60 catches? Why was that threshold important? Because in his contract, if he got 60 catches this year, he got a cool $500,000 bonus. Woo. That's what he entered Sunday with. That's the mindset he entered with. You think there's a part of Sanders that was kind of like, ooh, Kamara's out? I mean, you hate to see
Hell
it. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's touches
No Mike
to go.
Thomas?
Hey, yeah, no
Hey,
Mike
man,
Thomas.
did you hear that Alvin's got COVID?
Hey, there's touches to go around. And what does Emmanuel do? He gets the 8 grabs. He gets the $500K. And if you're watching online, Danny is playing his celebration after he caught that final ball where he's basically saying,
give me my
pay
money.
that money. By the way, Emmanuel Sanders, very good. But Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway is a baller, dude. Value draft pick for the New Orleans Saints.
First weekend winner for me, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns fan was really anybody just associated with the Cleveland Browns franchise because, I mean, honestly, the city of Cleveland just for a very long time has been a punchline. The Browns have been at the center of that 18-year streak, drought, now broken. Anytime I watch a game where I just have no rooting interest, I always try to put myself kind of in the shoes of the fans that do.
Okay, yeah.
And to be a Cleveland Browns fan yesterday must have been pretty darn awesome. Just a feeling of relief, excitement, and anticipation all rolled into one.
And pretty damn stressful as well,
Yes,
because
well,
you almost
I
let
mean,
that thing go at the end.
They're
dude.
used to that part, though. What they might not be used to is coming out on the winning side.
I mean, the way that old boy fielded that onside kick was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Little between hop got in there.
Yeah,
but hey, look, it doesn't matter. You think anyone cares about that now?
And so
They're
I
one
love
of
it
the
'cause-
playoffs, T.
Yeah, and now they're rewarded with an immediate rematch against the Pittsburgh
Yeah,
Steelers.
well, this time
except-
Ben's going to play,
Yeah,
too.
except this
But-
time with Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, their playoff drought was old enough to vote.
Yeah, that's fair.
It
Old
could buy
enough
tobacco legally.
to do some other things as well.
Yes.
Virtual.
Jordy, who you got? Virtually.
My weekend winner goes
Danny.
back to Stephen A. Smith. Nobody
Oh.
happier than Stephen A. that the Cowboys were eliminated from the playoffs.
Right.
And you're just soaking it up on social media.
Oh my God, Stephen A. That's some of the best content is Stephen A. Trolling Cowboys fans. All right,
I got a
your
weekend
next
winner.
weekend winner,
I got a
Jordy?
weekend winner. How about Mike Golick Sr.?
Yes.
22-year run at ESPN. His last assignment was his first assignment. He worked the Fiesta Bowl on Saturday between Oregon and Iowa State. That was his last assignment for the
Fiesta
network.
Bowl was his first
His
ever
first
assignment?
assignment was working the sidelines for the
Okay.
Fiesta
Fiesta
Bowl.
Bowl?
Okay.
Back in '98, October of '98. I thought his color commentary was phenomenal. He's in the
He's
radio.
fantastic in the booth. It's crazy.
He's in the Radio Hall of Fame. He's in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. He's got a 22-year run on radio that will go down as one of the best of all time. But his work as a color commentator on college football, anybody paying, if I'm Fox, if I'm out there and I have a contract for college football or even NFL, I mean, I hadn't seen him call an NFL game. I'd imagine that he's just as good. He is phenomenal.
Yeah.
In that role, and that's a tough. That is tough. He brings a lot of personality, and he's easy to listen and understand him breaking down the game. Shout out to Mike Golick
So
Sr.
likable.
Yeah, very likable.
I
Very
mean,
likable.
if there's
did
one
you see him go
word-
face first into the cake?
That was great.
Yeah.
That
And
was
if
great.
there's one word that just described him his entire career, probably just been likable. The vast majority of people just enjoy him.
Which in this business, that is a I mean,
Yeah.
that is
Really?
a hell of a compliment.
Really, the whole Golick family.
Yeah.
I mean, Golick
Yeah.
Jr. is great. I mean, they're just good people.
I thought Mark Schlereth was good on the Saints call yesterday.
Him and
So-
Adam Amin
Yeah.
are a great team.
I didn't realize
Vilma's
until
good.
somebody had pointed
Vilma
at
is good.
Vilma's very good.
And he's especially good calling Saints games because he gives you a little insight. And him and Sean Payton have this relationship where Payton will give him information,
Yeah.
and Vilma can kind of prod him on the air and continue to get it.
Yeah, I think too, as far as Schlereth goes, it's right on the edge. Maybe being a little too much, but he lands it with a sincerity. It just seemed like he was having a lot of fun on that call yesterday. My next weekend winner, the Payton and Breeze era of Saints football. You follow up back-to-back 13-3 seasons with a 12-4 year. You sweep the NFC South for the first time ever. Tom, who? You get a Sunday playoff spot, meaning Alvin Kamara should be good to go. And really, we'll talk about this more in the OT hour, but this entire year has basically been a Sean Payton appreciation year. It doesn't matter who. Next man up. It doesn't matter how many players are out with COVID, how many of your best players are out with injury or otherwise. This Saints team has continued to find a way, and so much of it traces back to Sean Payton. What do we always talk about as a player? You want to know if I trust to do what you're telling me, even if it doesn't make sense to me, if I trust in it and I execute it, that it will behoove me. You're putting me in my best position to succeed. Sean Payton does that with quite literally every single player on that Saints roster. So a huge weekend for the Payton and Breeze era of Saints football as they continue to do things that they've never done before.
Next weekend winner is anybody who enjoys trolling Dabo Swinney, and there are plenty of people who enjoy trolling Dabo Swinney. You got the perfect opportunity to do that.
Mountains of content.
Woo! And there was mountains of content all over social media, from people just posting old goofy TikTok videos of Dabo to posting his coach's poll to asking, hey, does that mean Clemson's ranked number 20 now, or is that how this works, or things like that. Even the Ohio State players got in on the action.
Yeah, Dabo tried to be like, I mean, none of that really works towards motivation, but it does.
Dabo,
I
you
mean,
screwed up, man.
Ohio State was definitely using that to be like, they don't want you to be here. They don't think you deserve to be here. Show them that they're wrong. Like, absolutely, that all plays a factor. My next weekend winner, Trey Hendrickson. I have not a ton to say here, except he ends up finishing the year tied for second in the NFL with 13.5 sacks, tied with Aaron Donald. It's a hell of a year for Trey Hendrickson and his bare hands, as he probably leads the league in guys that don't wear gloves with sacks. 13.5, pretty unreal.
Steph Curry had 62 points last night. Anybody surprised to see that was his career high? Curry last night. A little bit.
I was.
Versus the Portland Trailblazers. He was on fire last night in San Francisco. For the Warriors, they get a 137-122 win as the former two-time MVP had his career high of 62 points.
Look, I think the next weekend winner would be the NFC East fans. It's a horrible division, but it actually probably gave us the best storylines from yesterday. I mean, certainly there were some good AFC ones, but I don't know if I can remember a time where, going into the day, that literally, except for the Eagles, all other three teams had a chance to win the division. It was all on the line, back and forth. There were some close, exciting games. Now, of course, the Eagles basically ended up trying to lose that thing, but the NFC least came through in the end. And in fact, I'll hand out another weekend winner. The new playoff format. I know it screws the Saints this year, and that's disappointing. I do believe in time it will come back around and help you one year. All things even out over time. But next weekend sounds incredible. 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. The extra spot added even more juice to this final weekend, trying to figure everything out. So I actually really like the new NFL playoff format. Anybody else? I got a couple more here.
I think I'm good.
My brother, shout out, he got married over the weekend.
Hey, what's his name?
Josh.
Shout out Josh Cardenas. Hell yeah, man.
Older?
Yeah. Oh, my oldest brother.
Okay. The I don't know what I'm trying to say. The alpha brother. My next weekend winner, Steve Sarkisian's resume.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be any good. I think there's a good chance that he will, but I don't know. Texas seems like the place that I don't know how you solve the Texas problem, but I will say this. He now gets to say that he was the head coach of USC and Texas. No matter what happens, that's pretty wild. That's pretty unbelievable. Those are huge brand names.
Tom Herman actually might be a weekend winner, too, because first of all, he's getting paid. Second of all, he gets to get the hell away from Texas.
Yeah, all these college coaches.
Which is just a job I would want no part of.
It's the same thing like Gus Malzahn. He gets to get away from Auburn's crazy ass. All these head coaches that get fired.
Do you see?
It's impossible to feel bad for them.
Saban's next project is?
No.
Bill O'Brien.
Oh, he's welcome. Now,
I saw he's bringing him in for an interview.
So O'Brien has that's crazy if you can get him on staff. Bill O'Brien's really good. But O'Brien's from the Belichick tree originally.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you were combining the 2 evil emperors into maybe one bringing O'Brien in.
Formerly, he had Brian Daboll.
They did?
Yeah.
For 1 year or 2 years?
He won a natty with him.
I just like that for run Daboll. That was great. My next weekend winner, SEC over ACC, as the bowl records are in, and the ACC goes 0-6, while the SEC goes 6-2. More on that later. And finally, Danny, don't look now, but Antonio Brown. I hate it. I hate it just as much as you do, but Antonio Brown's starting to come on now.
Well, he needed 11 catches yesterday for $250K. He got he needed 10. He got 11.
Wow.
Get the 250.
Okay, so even more of a winner than I'd originally realized. Still, screw the Bucs. I like the Saints' playoff path. Right? Starting with the Bears, then you get what? You get the winner of Rams,
Seattle.
Seattle. If you look at all 3 of those teams, no one of them feels better than the Saints do. The Saints will be favored over all of them. I'm into how all this has worked out for New Orleans, even though you didn't manage to get that 1 seed.
Off the bench, driven and powered by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Daily brought to you by All-Star Toyota. Online at allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. Remember, get in touch with the crew over at All-Star Toyota. Get into your brand new make and model of Toyota from All-Star today. They've got great selections to choose from, whether it is pre-owned and certified inventory that they have over 90 in stock on the lot on Goodwood and Airline, or you can find them online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. A dealership so nice I joined the family twice. And look, I want to be clear, I'm not getting any sort of sweet deals or anything from All-Star. I didn't go there just because the commercials I'm paying. Well, whatever. Like I'm saying, there's no special deals, right? I bought vehicles from there because I like what they showed me. I like the pitch they gave me, and they made the process so incredibly easy, and they found the exact vehicles that my family needed. And it was a minivan, a little camera releasing, And so see what they have for you, because I guarantee they'll have what you're looking for. Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge today, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, for the Monday edition of Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going back to campus. We're going at the original coffee shop in Baton Rouge. That's right, Highland Coffees on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. It's Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, stick around. We'll talk college football with Ross Dellinger coming up here in a couple of minutes. Sarit Gilbert's story is crazy.
Good to be back.
It is. It's good to be back.
Okay, so wait. So what's going on with
So
the
the
recap?
latest
I thought
I
he
have,
entered the portal.
Yeah. So on Saturday, so January 2nd was Saturday. January 2nd was Sunday. Gilbert tweeted, "After careful consideration and collaboration with my family, I've decided to enter the transfer portal. I'd like to thank God for bestowing his blessings upon me." He later deleted his tweet, and his name has not yet appeared in the transfer portal, according to this ESPN.com report that I am reading right now from Adam Rittenberg. That was written on the night of December 2nd. To recap, on December 9th, Gilbert opted out the rest of the season. Ogeron said he hoped Gilbert would be returning to the LSU for 2021.
Sorry, real quick. Written on the night of December 2nd or the night of January 2nd?
I'm sorry, January 2nd.
Okay,
January
sorry.
2nd.
Okay, now
January 2nd.
continue.
January 2nd. Gilbert, ESPN's top tight end and Georgia prospect, picked LSU over Georgia and Alabama. So, you know, I thought he was in the portal as well when we were coming in.
So he's not now? I mean, I am operating under the assumption that I have since this store originally broke, which is just that he's done at LSU. I think that's the best way to approach it.
I would definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Whether he's in the portal or not, we can all agree that he's done in Baton Rouge, right? I mean, he's not ever going to play for LSU again. I don't know. It's a weird story. Whether he's in the portal or not, he's not playing at LSU again. I mean, it just
so you
seems
feel
like,
confident in that as well? I mean, that's just my read on the situation. I don't have anybody telling me anything. It just seems like
and that's the same. I mean,
probably all gotten a little too toxic. Yeah. And then what's it even like after he left and then you won those 2 games? Like, how does the rest of the team feel about him? I mean, you had Cole Taylor out there who is not near the talent of Arik Gilbert, but he was playing hard, man. He's like putting it all out there like a lot of those guys were. So I think it's one of those situations. I said it, man. I don't love my initial reaction to this story because I think I approached it with my kind of old player mindset where, like, I don't care what the problem is. If I was on that team, you'd pretty much be dead to me. As an adult, I think I can think a little more critically about things. And look, I think mental health, you talk about being homesick. What is that? Me and my neighbors were talking about this the other day. It's just like, what is homesick? It just means it's an intense sadness, right? And if he's not finding that at LSU and he needs to try to get his mentals right, like Marshawn Lynch talks about, well, you got to take care of that first. And wherever that is, good luck. Just understand this, if you're an LSU fan and you're like freaking out or something, why are you freaking out? The player is bigger than one, or the program is bigger than one player. And yes, this is an exceptional player, and it hurts to lose, but you did just see Kayshon Boutte go for over $300. You got all those great receivers that were showing out at the end of the year returning. You got great running backs returning. You now have that offensive line returning, and you got to imagine that there will be a lot of growth there, both from the younger guys and from the older guys that are returning. So you're feeling pretty good about this O-line. And if the O-line's back, then you could take advantage of the skill positions because you know you're going to have a good quarterback, whoever wins that job. And so then the big question becomes the defense. And last year is an outlier when it comes to LSU defense. Like, I feel good if the problem is, can we fix it defensively? Because I feel like LSU is always very close to fixing it defensively, and you can bounce back immediately with the right guy in charge of it. There's still tons of talent on the defensive side of the ball. And even there, you've got some nice returns with Andre Anthony and announcing that he is coming back as well. So, yeah, life looks pretty good right now for LSU fans, even with the Arik Gilbert departure. And so that's a huge bummer. It's a huge bummer for everybody who put in so much recruiting work and everything else. But mainly, I just wish the kid well. I hope he finds whatever he's looking for, wherever that may be. But look, don't keep it moving. Don't lose sleep over this. It is what it is. No one player is bigger than the program.
We got some breaking news here, college football as it's concerned. Before we get to Ross Dellinger and Sports Illustrated, Pete Thamel actually had it first over at Yahoo, but Dellinger reporting BYU offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes is now the new offensive coordinator at Baylor, telling SI now the deal is done. Grimes and Dave Aranda work together at LSU, as that will be the next landing spot for Jeff Grimes, who's the former offensive line coach here.
I think that's a really good hire. I think Grimes has done a pretty unreal job as the OC at BYU.
Grimes this past season was a finalist for the Broyles Award as BYU finished number 3 in scoring offense, averaging 43 points per game.
Why didn't LSU get him? Nah, interestingly, I don't think that LSU I don't think LSU fans would have responded very well to that. Not that that's what you make this decision based off of anyway, but the step to Baylor seems like a great next step for Grimes as he continues to work his way up that coaching ladder. I'm going to be fascinated to see what who do you think's a bigger hire, offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator for LSU right now? Because it is interesting, right? We saw the impact that a bad defensive coordinator hire can have last year, and it's literally horrible. It turned 7-3 into 5-5. But when you look at it, does LSU have more talent on offense right now? And with how well-positioned the quarterbacks seem to be, and just in the age of football that we're seeing where offense rules the day, is that OC more important? What do you think?
I definitely think when you look at the quarterback position and the room, that this is it's a monumental hire for Orgeron. I think defensively, he's got enough contacts in the game and got enough experience on that side of the ball where last year was an outlier, right? Where, I mean, you can't swing and miss like you did on Bo Pelini, and I don't think that he will. But more importantly, you've got to get somebody in on the offensive side that produces an identity for you, that you can place a calling card for recruiting on, and that you can give some ease of mind to the future recruits, the Walker Howards, the people in the pipeline, the players in the pipeline. They've got to see what the identity is going to look like for the longevity of the LSU offense. I think Marcus Freeman is the guy that they want, but they understand that he's a flash in the pan, right? If you were able to keep him 2 seasons, it's Lanyap. More, it seems like more directly you would just keep him 1 year in Baton Rouge. 2 seasons
is Lanyap or 3 is Lanyap? You think 1?
I think 1 is ideal. I think 1 is more ideal. So I think that's why the negotiation with Freeman's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's
right.
Tough.
So if you're willing to get back to being able to turn, look what happens in Tuscaloosa though. And I hate to, for comparison's sakes, always go there, but, LSU wants to be in that stratosphere as far as programs are concerned. Really and truly, there's no better sign of success than if your coaches are getting more jobs after the season than success. If you're having success, they're coming to see you. They're coming to get your guys. They're coming to try to and poach your staff. LSU is firing everybody. Season.
No, it is.
You know what
it's
I mean?
something that we talked about a couple years ago when we talked about the CEO model that LSU was embracing. Is the potential pitfall of it is that if you're doing it correctly, you're going to have to be constantly hiring. Yeah. And that's unless you get like there's your outliers, like a Venables, where he just seems happy and he's just down to chill, right? I would say if I was going to just try to spin it positively for Freeman, why I would pursue him no matter what is. Or maybe the attraction from where his side would be even is that if he's at a place like LSU where he knows he's going to be given really top-level talent. I mean, look at what he did with that Cincinnati defense. Yeah. They were fun to watch. Admittedly, that was really the only Cincy game that I've watched very closely, right? So I was like all other LSU fans just getting all hot and bothered out of nowhere. But as far as Freeman goes, the LSU is a position where he could bide his time, right? Like that's what I'm getting to. He's always going to have talent. He can turn out good defenses, and then he can do if he wanted to, if he has like a dream job, he can do a Kirby Smart type of, I'm going to be very, very patient and wait for the exact right opportunity, and then maybe you end up with him for some extended time. But yeah, I don't know that I would be too afraid of him eventually being hired away, because to your point, Jordy, that means that you just made a good hire.
Ross Dellinger next.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Brought to you by Central Plumbing Company, online at centralplumbing.org. Get in touch with Jay Payne, Zach Payne, Brandon LeBlanc today at 925-8552. Remember, they're online at centralplumbing.org. Easy to find. If you can, if you're handy, Central Plumb it yourself. They got it over there in Greenville Springs Road, online, centralplumbing.org.
Centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. You already know we love Jay Payne and the Central Plumbing family. Consider myself to be a part of the family. I use them for all plumbing issues. That's right. When something goes wrong, toilet won't flush, you got water squirting out somewhere, pipe's not working, I don't think twice. I immediately go to centralplumbing.org, 925-8552. Everybody's licensed, spawn insured. I can trust who is coming into my home, which is massive. And then I don't lift a finger and my problems are solved. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, you can buy all the parts you need, Central Plumb it yourself. But if you're like me, and you tend to make things worse, don't. And don't think twice. 925-8552, centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
It's playoff time in the NFL. Tune in this weekend for live play-by-play of all 6 Wild Card weekend games. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments.
As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Mario Jerez here, wishing everybody a happy new year from all of us at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tune in to After Further Review Monday, January 4th as Matt Moscona is back in the host chair. AFR Monday at 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we went way too long in the last segment. I want to talk a lot of college football with Ross Dellinger.
Talk a lot.
Let's get to him. Delly, of course, from Sports Illustrated. We read a report from Ross Dellinger this morning on some news that was breaking as we were on the air. Jeff Grimes, former BYU offensive coordinator, averaging 44 points per game this season for the Cougs, has been hired by former LSU defensive coordinator Dave Aranda over in Waco to run his offense for the Baylor Bears. A lot of coaching moves happening right now, Delly. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, it's a weird Monday. You know, usually this Monday is followed by Thanksgiving, and this one is kind of followed by Christmas, just the way everything went down with the season and the bowls and everything. So this is kind of like our Thanksgiving Monday, where people are getting fired, and there are a lot of week of hires. I expect all this week will have quite a bit of hiring going on.
Yeah, college football versions of Black Monday here on January 4th, 2021. As coaches get their pink slips and get hired aboard. Big news over the weekend, Tom Herman out in Austin, Steve Sarkisian in as the new head coach for the Longhorns. What'd you make of the move?
Well, I was shocked. You heard Sarkisian's name mentioned with the Texas job if it did come open, but I think a lot of us were under the impression it wasn't going to come open since, the AD released a statement saying it wasn't going to come open. It was, Del Conte, the AD there, used his words carefully in that statement, but he was asked, I think, straight up after his statement was released if Tom Herman would be the coach next year. He said yes. So it just shows to show you how I don't know how fickle some of this stuff is, and how many cooks are in the kitchen when it comes to some of these decisions. But I was certainly shocked, but they kept a lid on it for several days, because I think this had been going on with talks with Sarkisian, and nothing really got out, and they were able to have the dream scenario for an AD, which is to announce a firing and within a few hours announce a replacement. And so that was pretty good. As far as the hire itself, it seems risky, but guys, every hire these days seems pretty risky. There's no real sure bet anymore. So
there seems to be some Dan Mullen rumors to the NFL coming out of Gainesville. Are you hearing any of these, and would you buy into that?
Yeah, I am. I've seen some of that when I was down in Gainesville about 3 weeks ago. Actually, that came up when I was down there with some people that I met with. If Dan Mullen's going to go anywhere, I don't think it's another college job. I think it is a NFL job. I don't know what his hireability is at that level, though. But it would seem to me, based on some things that have come out and some things I heard when I was down there, that he's at least got a little interest in pro football, at least giving it a crack. It's funny because when I was down there, I met with Steve Spurrier, and this was in a story I wrote about him from our hour interview or so. But he was talking about regrets in his coaching career, and one of the regrets was leaving Florida and
going to Washington
and going to the NFL.
Yeah, and we'll see. Look, Mullen, not too many people in college football are going to miss him on the way out. What about LSU, Ross? LSU engaged in a couple of really big coordinator searches themselves. As we said, just given how this year went and how it kind of primed a lot of the muskets, it feels like these are really can't-miss coaching searches. What can you tell us about what your contacts are saying on the LSU front?
Yeah, these are as important as hires as Ed Orgeron has had, in his 4 years there. It feels like must make hires. I think I saw a report yesterday, and I would assume it is accurate because I've heard his name quite a bit, that the Cincinnati defensive coordinator will interview. I know that he was on toward the top of their list, probably, as is the Oregon defensive coordinator. So I know they've got some pretty good guys. It sounds like they're looking. If you just look at those two guys, they're looking for somebody that's kind of a younger guy coming up in the industry who has manned a very successful defenses, and it feels like we're coming to a head here, and interviews are starting this week, and you would think after this week they'd have a hire. As far as the OC, haven't heard as much on that, which tells me that they either have their person that they're going to hire, or they're maybe waiting for someone to finish the season.
What about Freeman? As far as so there's this idea out there that even if Freeman would come to LSU, that it maybe wouldn't be for too long, just given the interest in him. Does he go for a head job? Does that affect you from a decision-making standpoint, if you think a guy may only be there 1 or 2 years, or does that mean you should hire him because of how desirable he is?
Well, this is always the question that the big argument with hiring people is that, do you, and for head coaches as well, like at the group of 5 level or something like that, do you hire a guy who is kind of going to use it as a stepping stone, I don't think that LSU is too worried about that. I think they're okay with, if you're going to get something better than LSU's defensive coordinator position, then that must be pretty good. That thing must be pretty good. It must be really well paying, and maybe it's a head job somewhere or an NFL DC or something like that. Because I think LSU's going into this hiring an up and coming guy who probably is. It's going to be a stepping stone, and he might not be there for more than a couple of years. But I think that's okay. I think they're okay with that in a lot of ways.
Ross, you had a great piece on Sam Nader back in September of 2019. Nader, it was reported over the weekend, is retiring from the program. He was hired in 1975 as a graduate assistant in Baton Rouge. It seems like everybody in this city has a Sam Nader story. You spent extended amount of time around him. What did you find out about the grandfather of LSU football?
Yeah, that was one of the more fun stories that I can remember doing. I remember, late. I guess that story probably came out right before the SEC championship game. So last December 2019, and leading up to that, I took a trip to Baton Rouge and kind of was batting around different story ideas, and people were kind of like, man, you should write about Sam Nader. Nobody really has. Nobody's told this story. So went to calling around, and finally, it took a while, but finally got Sam to actually meet me out at a coffee shop near campus, and because he really didn't want anything written about him.
Yeah, he doesn't do radio interviews. I mean, I've texted and called him.
Yeah, he made that clear to me.
Yeah,
he made that clear to others around him, who made that clear to me, and I was like, look, he's either going to be a part of the story or he's not, because the story's getting written. And somebody convinced him finally, why don't you go meet Ross out, and he did, and he was great. But I got even better stuff from obviously people around him who had been around him for years, and he's just a genuinely great guy, and it was a really fun story to do. And I know he's been easing into, I think this year basically he was part-time basically from what I understand, and I think he's been kind of easing into that. So good luck to him kind of in retirement. It's about time. I think he's in his, mid-70s, mid to early 70s, I believe. So it's about time that he can go and prop his feet up and do some relaxing.
Give me 30 to 45 seconds on the national championship game. What do you think about the Alabama-Ohio State matchup?
Well, I didn't think anybody could really beat Alabama. I thought maybe only one would be Clemson. But after seeing Ohio State roll Clemson, I'm not so sure about that statement anymore. I wonder if Ohio State can give Alabama a game. The thing that I think that's going to be hard here, and although they played great against Clemson, the Ohio State defense, they have really shown some issues, especially in the secondary. And, man, you have any issues against Alabama on your defense, and they're going to exploit it. So I wonder how much that they can slow. They're not going to stop them for sure, but how much can they really slow up? Can they slow them at all?
Delly, Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. See y'all.
Close out hour 2 next.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Welcome aboard, brand new sponsor, Advanaclean. Let me tell you about Advanaclean. As if you got water or mold damage around your house, get in touch with Advanaclean. As they are, they're great. Bradley Lynch is the local representative here. You can find online at advanaclean.com. T-Bob, I sent Bradley a picture of water that had seeped through in moving some Christmas decorations around on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Bradley's at the house.
Yeah.
Comes over on Christmas Day. You want to talk about customer service over at Vanaclean? They got it online at vanaclean.com.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild on multiple fronts. First off, they 24/7, like they're there for you. But how about this? You wake up, you have one of these horrible problems, you got wet socks or anything, you call Advanaclean, they take care of the insurance. They literally do everything. They deal with the insurance company. They get it fixed. Call 225-306-8969. That's 306-8969. Go to vanaclean.com today.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One thing you can always count on this time of year is Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. With year-end clearance prices on every vehicle in stock. Save thousands on some of the best, most awarded vehicles on the road. And shop the way you feel comfortable. At the dealership or online with home delivery. So everyone can take advantage of Happy Honda Days. No wonder people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I built a van.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, for the Monday edition of Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going back to campus. We're going at the original coffee shop in Baton Rouge. That's right, Highland Coffees on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. It's Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, it seems the news with Dan Mullen and the Florida administration right now is gaining a lot of smoke here during what Ross Dellinger calls college football's version of Black Monday, where we see coaches on the move, coaches being hired. We asked him specifically about rumors that are coming out of Gainesville about Dan Mullen being interested in NFL jobs. And Dellinger said that's something that he heard about down in Gainesville a couple of weeks when he was putting a piece together on the Florida football team. Adam Schefter is reporting in the last 2 hours that he is expecting Dan Mullen's name to be a part of a couple of NFL jobs and for Mullen to have interest in those jobs.
Yeah, and I was just skimming a Saturday Down South article that maybe is saying that the relationship is a little strained right now between Mullen and the administration. Just kind of referencing some of this stuff this year, like, I want to pack out the stadium, and then he gets COVID, and then the Darth Vader mask, which I actually really like all this stuff because I think like you need a little more of this personality in college football. And then of course, I mean, even some like you don't really see coaches do what he did after that bowl loss. Like that was some of the most sore loser stuff that I've seen in a while. He's not wrong when he says something like the last game the 2020 Florida team played was 11 days ago. Like he's not wrong there.
I thought it started to slip.
Sure, that's how he would feel.
I thought it started to slip for Mullen in the Missouri post-game press conference, where your team has a brawl on the field, you've got questions to answer, and you show up dressed up like Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, the school's not happy about that. I love all that. Me personally, I love it. I applaud all of it. But the Florida administration, it sounds like, didn't take too kindly to it. And I forgot Florida got put on probation for a year for some recruiting stuff that he did. Anytime I hear about other schools getting put on probation, I'm just like, what is LSU doing? How's LSU avoiding all of this? Like, everybody else getting popped, just skating by. Hey, we'll see where it goes. We'll keep riding this thing till rides no farther. But hell yes. The bottom line is get Dan Mullen out of Florida. I do not want, no LSU fans want to see Dan Mullen at Florida. He is way too much of a threat to have to deal with year in and year out.
So you have a good hour 3. Good to be back on Off the Bench. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Stick around for OTBOT coming at you.
Yeah, I got a lot to talk about in the OT. Got to talk some Saints, some general college football as well. Talk a little Pelicans, a little VR, a little Christmas break. So we got a lot to get to. Stick around right here on Off the Bench. OTBOT coming up next. Oh, now Carson Wentz is demanding a trade.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Daily brought to you by Ochsner Sports Medicine Program. Remember, right here in Baton Rouge over at the Grove Boulevard at the Grove Complex. Get in touch with Ochsner Sports Medicine. Get you back in the game today, whether it's MRI, physical therapy, surgery, whatever you're looking for. Let Ochsner be the ones that help you out today online, Ochsner.org.
Ochsner.org. I've been working out my Ochsner Performance Training shirt, and if you want to get bigger, stronger, faster, you want to maximize your potential, whether you're, it doesn't matter if you're a high school athlete, junior high athlete, ancient athlete. Ochsner is there. Ochsner Performance Training is there to get you bigger, stronger, faster. They have the best facilities. They have the latest training techniques. Trust me when I say it's worth it. And really, that's everything at Ochsner is going the extra mile, leaving no stone unturned, maximizing your potential, whether that's an improvement or recovery from an injury. Maximize your health with Ochsner. Go to Ochsner.org, Ochsner.org.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Ochsner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, January the 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect to see sunny skies with a high of 70. You can watch the show live today at the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. Follow the show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Coming up on OTBOT, plenty of Saints, Pelicans, and LSU talk. And it starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back. Glad to be back here. First OTB OT in a couple of weeks for your boy. A lot of people talking about bringing Major Applewhite back. Are we still high on Major Applewhite? I don't know. Should say a lot of people. A couple of recent comments here, but didn't he take over post-Herman at Houston?
He did take over post-Herman at Houston.
That didn't go well at all. He ruined the Ed Oliver relationship. Then,
yeah, he wouldn't let him wear a jacket on the sideline. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was just atrocious.
So
what are you doing, Coach? Come on.
I mean, so that's just like he just plaxico-burst himself. That's shooting your leg in the club. Be smarter. Also, did I see earlier in the show he's now the OC at South Alabama? Who I believe the head coach of South Alabama now is the former Indiana defensive coordinator. A lot of people were very high on potentially hiring this year. So no, I don't think Major Applewhite is the answer there. Yeah, Lewis Burner going to hard pass on Major. Yeah, I think I agree. But welcome into OTB OT. As you can see, a lot of this hour does deal with the chat and kind of what y'all are talking about. We're going to start off this hour with what I would be a Sean Payton appreciation thread as our segment, as what the Saints did this year and what Sean Payton did this year is nothing short of astounding, and I don't want the sting of not getting the 1 seed to somehow diminish what you witnessed the Saints team accomplish. I mean, had they not dealt with as much adversity as they had, there's no doubt in my mind that the New Orleans Saints would have been the 1 seed, but it doesn't matter. 12-4 in its own right is very impressive. Again, we're going to talk more college football later, as well as bowl season is in the books. Get Danny and Musso's reaction to the big games. Also, we now can talk about conferences and their bowl records. As the SEC rules the day, once again, the ACC is utterly horrible showing for the ACC as they go winless 0-6 in bowl season. It's become a little awkward with the ACC now in how you talk about them. Like all the stuff about, all they have is Clemson and that's it. And that's I mean, everybody knows that to be true, right? But you still think, it's hard to go undefeated and all these other sorts of things. But with the weaker and weaker that conference gets, like at what point does it start to affect Clemson? Maybe it doesn't because of Clemson's resume. But these are some of the questions that we will explore. So again, if you want to get involved, everybody's right there in the chat. Feel free. We'll get to everything. I want to talk more Oculus Quest later, a little more VR as I have transcended the physical plane into the digital plane, and it's just in time. Because if you saw Boston Dynamics dancing robot video, Danny, which maybe have it brought up for later, unless you got it up right now. We could play it later, but prepare to be terrified because it's only a matter of time till the last robot or the last human settlement falls. But that's okay. That's why I'm already going to the virtual reality thing. Is hopefully I can make myself into some sort of cyborg. And then they'll accept me as one of their own. And then maybe we'll just like stay on here and I'll be a robot that never starts or never stops spouting takes. I'll just be up here 24/7 streaming for all you other robots to sit there and listen to. Danny, skip about halfway in this video. If you're watching on 104.5's ESPN YouTube channel, oh my God, dude, there it is. We are watching the Boston Dynamics robots all dance.
Is that a dog? What is that?
That is
What is that one?
So that is the original robot from way back in the day. Back in like 2007 when I was entering college, that little robot dog walker was kind of their main development piece. And they were talking about it like bringing ammo on the battlefield and all these other things. It has now continued to evolve. It's got this creepy arm grabby thing on top of it. If you've seen that Black Mirror episode, you know it's only a slight leap until that thing becomes a gun and it hunts human beings down. I don't know what this little wheeled thick in the back robot is that came in out of nowhere, but it's all very scary. And that's all real. I know where you're looking at doesn't seem like it looks real, but that's where we've reached, which is really cool on one hand. I don't want to be totally like dismissive of all this because seeing robotics like that is kind of mind-blowing and super badass and probably has a lot of positive implications for humanity before we all get murdered by them, right? Like, eventually we reach a singularity and robots start designing and improving upon other robots. Like C-3PO actually says back in Star Wars, I think he says like how perverse or something along those lines. But we're not there yet. Before then, we'll probably get some sweet stuff out of it. Like, this is pretty close to robot fighting. Maybe if you make it a little more economically feasible, I would watch these robots tear each other to shreds. But then again, then they eventually make us tear each other's threads. So I got a lot on my mind today, obviously. But let's start here. Let's start with your New Orleans Saints, who yesterday wrapped up a 12-4 year, a year in which they dealt with a ton of adversity. And I'm going to reference a couple of Saints writers here that kind of got my brain spinning on this. And the first one is Amy Just, where she made a great point. Like, if you want to look at kind of how this season has gone, just look at the Saints box score from Sunday, a game in which you absolutely dominate the Carolina Panthers, where you win 33-7, 5 picks. Drew Brees throws 3 touchdowns. You sweep the NFC South for the first time ever. Deal with it, Tom, you bum. Coming down south thinking you were going to take over. Enjoy the wild card. Well, you probably will because you get to play the Washington football team. Although I think the Washington football team could present some problems for Tom. You're rolling your eyes at me.
Pass rush.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Struggle up front.
That's what I'm saying. We saw in that Saints D-line what it's done to Tom Brady. And that Washington D-line's actually probably, well, no, I don't think it's better than the Saints, but it's right there with them. And so we'll get into it. But point is, New Orleans Saints yesterday accomplished all of these things, 12-4, second seed in the NFC. And you look at the box score on a day where you dominate. And you have practice squad cornerback Grant Haley leading the team with 6 tackles and a pick and a pass breakup. You have Ty Montgomery as your leading rusher, 18 carries, 105 yards, only the second time in his career that he's gone over 100. And when you look at how the Saints season has been defined, which again is by this next man up mantra, and it actually has a lot of echoes of something that we talked about with LSU a couple weeks back, which is when you hear next man up, there's a tendency to be cynical and respond like, well, there's a reason he's the next man. And there's truth there, right? There is. But what you've seen out of both LSU at the end and especially the Saints all year long is that sometimes you need to let go of that cynicism, and that sometimes there is something to be said for really embracing and believing in that, and that's exactly what the Saints team has done. And so much of it goes back to Sean Payton. And at this point, let's head over to NewOrleans.football, where Nick Underhill has an excellent article just really trying to lay out just how good Payton's been this year. And here's a couple paragraphs from there that I want to read verbatim. Quote, Payton won't get the credit he deserves, but this might be the best coaching job of his life. And here's the key part right here. Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara have played a total of 10 quarters together. 10 quarters for Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas. And yet, the Saints won 12 games and locked up the 2 seed in the NFC. If winning a bunch of games with Brees and Thomas without Brees and Thomas didn't impress people, maybe Sunday's game will finally get people to take notice of what's happening here. With Kamara, Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington, and Michael Burton's sideline, the Saints rushed for 156 yards. With Marcus Williams, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Patrick Robinson, and D.J. Swearinger's sideline, the Saints intercepted 5 passes. Maybe it'll take beating the Bears and whoever else follows in the playoffs to get that respect. And that's another thing. I don't think that nationally this is never going to resonate like it does locally because Nationals are never going to dive into the nuance required to really appreciate what you're witnessing out of the New Orleans Saints. So that's what I want to do here. Let's just listen to what Nick just talked about. Engage in that nuance. Appreciate what this Saints team has accomplished. Don't let the bitterness of not getting the 1 seed or the Eagles game or any of that nonsense overshadow the greater point here, which is the Saints did an unfathomably good job this year of dealing with adversity. I mean, Mike Thomas, Drew Brees, and Alvin Kamara playing 10 quarters together. These are your best players. These are $20 million players, essentially. What other coaches, what other teams could lose those pieces and still go 12-4 and sweep a division that has another very good team in it? Didn't sweep a bum division. I mean, Carolina wasn't any good this year. Atlanta was frisky, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were legitimately good, and yet they could not even get close to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, I think about how good of a job I thought the Steelers did going 8-8 last year without Ben Roethlisberger, with Duck Hodges and company. Well, what about the New Orleans Saints? Kamara, Thomas, Brees only playing 10 quarters together. And even then, it's not like a prime Drew Brees either. And you never really got prime Mike Thomas either, maybe outside of the first game where he ends up getting hurt at the very end. And so on one hand, let's celebrate what you witnessed. And on the next hand, let's get excited about what comes next. Because what is the status of the Big Three, and what does that mean for the New Orleans Saints' potential playoff run? Look, you got Drew Brees looking healthier and healthier. Hopefully Alvin Kamara stays asymptomatic, and he'll be good to go on Sunday. And then I think Mike Thomas is going to be good to go, right? I haven't had a good grasp on his situation all year long, and I feel like I've been wrong at many turns. But after the game, there's a quote from Drew Brees that really did stand out to me where he basically references getting Mike Thomas back, and it sounds like these 3 weeks were used for health more than anything with Mike Thomas. That this wasn't he has to miss 3 weeks. This was, do we really need him? What's the true value here? Can we save him and get him at 100% for the playoffs? And I think that was the Saints' goal in holding Thomas out of these games. And so now, because look, Alvin Kamara is in his best form that he's ever been. Look no further than the NFL record, 6 touchdowns that he set on Christmas, which, by the way, how great was Christmas Day? You got a little Pelicans game in the morning, a little Saints game in the afternoon. It was fantastic. The red and green cleats are holding. You know where Kamara is. Drew Brees looks healthier. Like we said, returning from the ribs was really, really sharp on Sunday. It's time for Mike Thomas. If you want to win in these playoffs, which you have over a 50% chance of making the NFC Championship according to ESPN's predictive measures. The only team that has a better chance of reaching the Super Bowl are the Green Bay Packers according to those same predictive measures. So if you're going to accomplish those goals, if you're going to avoid the Viking collapse of last season, if you're going to make up for the playoff woes of last year's, so much of it is going to come down to Mike Thomas. And Mike Thomas, it is time to go into MJ mode, last dance mode. Like Steph Curry talked about that, right? And I took that personally. That needs to be the mantra that Mike Thomas is employing for this playoff run. And remember, he has that attitude. It's a reason why Jumpman signed him, right? He's a member of the Jumpman brand for that very reason. He is one of those few athletes out there. Even, there's the elite athletes that make up the NFL, and then there's an even more elite grouping of a handful of players that take it a step further. And Mike Thomas is one of those players, but he's also one of those players that really epitomizes the Michael Jordan attitude. Remember the ski mask from a couple of years ago? The dude is a killer. He's a competitor, and he doesn't care about money. You paid him all the money in the world. What did he do? He broke the NFL record the next year. He's not motivated by money. He's motivated by competition. He's motivated by winning. He's motivated by dominating and asserting dominance over the guy across from him. And we haven't seen that Mike Thomas yet this year. We haven't been given the opportunity to. And so maybe here at playoff time, when you need it most, that's the Mike Thomas I'm hoping to see. And again, we talked about untapped potential a couple of weeks ago. It still remains. And I don't know if it's going to be tapped or not. But if it does, if you get that 100% Mike Thomas, you combine him with a 100% Alvin Kamara, you have Drew Brees playing sharp again. He doesn't have to carry the team. He simply has to lead them. Well, all of a sudden, you could be looking at a Super Bowl favorite. So we'll see. We'll see. But before the playoffs, take today to appreciate what you just witnessed. 12-4, NFC South champs once again. First time anybody's ever swept the division, and doing it through heaps and heaps of adversity, whether it was a Lions game early on where you're missing a million guys or Sunday where you're missing a million guys. Nothing mattered. Sean Payton, the guiding light, just do your job. Shout out Coach Payton and everybody else in that Saints organization. All right, when we get back, let's get into some of these bowl results, what it means for college football, talk a little more LSU as well, and we got Pelicans coming up later in the show. Stick around here on OTBOT.
OTBOT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Mario Jerez here, wishing everybody a happy new year from all of us at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tune in to After Further Review Monday, January 4th as Matt Moscona is back in the host chair. AFR Monday at 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back. OTBOT, T-Bob Musso, Danny hanging out with you. Sorry, boys, I got off on just a diatribe of just, whatever, like robots and Saints football and whatnot. How was your holiday breaks? You all had a good time?
Yeah, it was good, man. Good time spent with all.
Nice. Did you miss me?
A little bit.
Okay.
Not as much as you might think.
Okay.
But I mean, no, there was definitely some, man. Sure wish T-Bob was here.
Honesty is the it's a great base of any relationship. So thank you for not being overly sugary there. Danny, what about you? Did you miss me?
Yeah, I was actually in Miami.
Oh,
most of the break.
Okay, Danny. Well, what's up? How was Miami?
It was amazing. Miami's open, so I went I could go pretty much anywhere I wanted.
Really?
Yeah.
How are the women?
Amazing.
Okay, there you go. You already know.
A lot of Colombians, Puerto Ricans.
Danny with the boots on the ground research. Stay tuned. We'll give out Danny's OnlyFans information in not too long here. Sure, he came up with a lot of great content over the break. How long were you in Miami for?
4 days.
Okay, that's what's up, dude. Well, I missed both of you terribly.
Thank you,
Although it was kind of fascinating. I don't know that I've gone on a vacation that long, and I felt completely untethered from the world as all of this started to there were sports going on everywhere, and I'm just sitting there playing table tennis VR the entire time. All right now though, I want to get into some NFL playoff talk, and I want to get into some college football talk because I'm hurriedly rifling through my notes looking for where I'm at. Did y'all see the SEC bowl records? Brett McMurphy tweeted these, or not just the SEC, but with bowl season in the book. Did y'all see all the conference records?
I did.
Okay, so with only the national championship left to play, the Big 12 went 5-0 in bowl season. Good on you, Big 12.
They didn't have to play any Sun Belt teams. That's
a nice showing. Did not have to play any Sun Belt teams, which, funnily enough, Moose, you bring up the Sun Belt. To me, the Sun Belt, along with the Big 12 and maybe the SEC, is the other big winner in bowl season as the Sun Belt goes 4-1. Has the Sun Belt asserted itself as the premier Group of 5 conference? I mean, the MAC left this year. The Sun Belt seemed to slide right into its spot. They got multiple Power 5 wins. They finished bowl season 4-1. MAC goes 2-0, but, what is that? I mean, you're undefeated, but it's only 2 games. Conference USA goes 0-6. The AAC went 1-5. Mountain West 2-1. I mean, dude, I think the Sun Belt's here.
Still think it's the American Conference, but
the American Athletic Conference, 1-5 American Athletic Conference.
I don't really care if they went 1-5 in their bowl games. I still think they're top to bottom a better league than the Sun Belt.
Bowl games are the best. Bowl games are the best measure that we have of these interconference games.
Not these days in college football.
Why?
Because half your team quits a lot of the time.
And sometimes, in Florida case, yes. But that's okay.
Georgia had 8 opt-outs.
Yeah, and they won. So when you're looking at the aggregate, it doesn't matter. It evens itself out. And I don't know how many guys are leaving Group of 5 schools either. Shout out Sunbelt. Okay. Billy Napier, UL, everybody else. Which shout out the Cage as well. And then look, man, here it is. The SEC 6-2. What are you going to do?
The demise of the SEC was once again.
I mean, I know people always want to hate.
A huge overreaction.
And what was that? I'm looking for a tweet that somebody sent me earlier. Shout out Brent Skaggs on Twitter. So Danny Cannell was trying to be like, the SEC guys always cherry pick, right? If their team wins because the SEC is the best, if they lose, it's because they didn't care. So I don't want to engage in any like, did they care, did they not care about the game, which is stupid anyway, right? You should always care about the game. You should always care about winning. Like if Georgia had lost to Cincinnati, all those Georgia people would have been like, well, they didn't really want to be there. They obviously wanted to be there. Look at the comeback win. They wanted to win.
The players who don't care are the players who opt out.
Yeah, exactly, right? Everybody who's
Why
there
would you
does
not go
care.
out there and try to get better and win a game?
So the SEC, though, again, big winners at 6-2. Big Ten goes 3-1, which is pretty nice. Weird year for the Big Ten, though. Hard to judge just because they didn't play that much football. But the big loser here, the Pac-12 goes 0-2, but that's kind of whatever. The big loser, though, has to be the ACC. The ACC finishes bowl season 0-6. And then here's some fascinating numbers from Brent Skaggs, because some people are saying, oh, well, that's just a one-year sample size. Okay, let's look at a 3-year sample size. The SEC has been 20-10 in bowl season. The ACC 10-18. In a 5-year sample size, SEC 31-22, ACC 23-31. In a 10-year sample size, the SEC is 66-38. The Big Ten's 41-44, ACC 42-58. Big 12 actually has a winning record, 37-32, and then the Pac-12, 36-38. What's fascinating about that is not whether the other conferences have winning or losing records. It's that in that 10-year sample size, you see that by design, bowl game records should kind of be about 50-50, right? You should be maybe a little over 500, a little under 500. The outlier is the SEC being 66-38 in 10 years. Like that is by far. There is no argument to be made. It is by far the best conference in college football. And what's interesting is it's not going to stop anytime soon. If anything, we're almost seeing a further regionalization of college football where the South is just going to continue to dominate. Now, the ACC looks awkward, and that's the other part of this conversation. We punish the Pac-12, right? We basically assume that Pac-12 champions are not worthy of the benefit of the doubt in a normal year because their conference hasn't been worthy. But is the ACC worthy? With this 0-6 year, like how competitive is that conference actually? And really, is it just all Clemson? And that's what a lot of people thought, is it's Clemson and everybody else. Do you have to, what do y'all think? Do you have to continue to give Clemson the benefit of the doubt because of their personal resume? Because it doesn't feel like their road through the conference is very deserving of getting a lot of benefit of the doubt.
It's not, but it would be less deserving if Clemson regularly got destroyed when they got on the big stage. Like if they had Notre Dame's record in the big games in the playoffs and they get in and they just get beat down.
That's fair.
Then I'd lean maybe towards, yes, stop giving the benefit of the doubt. But they've won 2 national championships during that time frame you just mentioned of the ACC being down.
And they beat Alabama and everything.
They beat the tar out of Alabama.
And if we just approach from a pure talent standpoint, you look at recruiting rankings, you know that they are a top 5 most talented team in the entire country. It's starting to, I mean, the unfair advantage that they gain is being called into stark focus by the lack of success from the rest of the conference.
Clemson would compete to win any conference that they were in.
They would. But they wouldn't. But they wouldn't do so.
They wouldn't
on the
dominate
year in and year out basis.
But
they would not win the conference every year. They would not win their half of the conference every year.
To play devil's advocate, Ohio State has won the Big Ten like something like 5 years in a row, and Oklahoma has won the Big 12 6 years in a row now. So, do we call into question that? Their road to the championship as well?
Well,
Alabama's won the SEC. What? It's something.
So I would think
5 out of the last 7 years or something?
Yes, and so especially in college football, you're always going to have hyper-powerful teams. Like parity does not exist like it does in the NFL where, you have salary caps, you have all these things designed to even things out. Like college football is definitely the haves and have-nots. The reason why the other schools you mentioned, Ohio State and Oklahoma, deserve more credit is because look what their conferences have done in these bowl games where we get these inter-conference matchups, which are kind of like measuring sticks for where everybody's at. I mean, the Big 12 here goes 5-0 this year. Like we said, the Big 10 goes 3-1. Like, if you were to do, so if I was to do a Big 12 versus ACC challenge, who do you think wins that challenge?
Oh.
I think the Big 12 wins it.
The Big 12 wins, but not by, I don't think it's that. I think it's close. I
think the Big 10 and the Big 12 smash the ACC. The bottom line is
the Big 12 got smashed by the Sun Belt the first 2 weeks of the season.
That's right.
You're going to say they smashed the ACC?
Yeah, because the ACC's not good. That's the entire point of this. They're not good. They're not good. There are no good teams.
They might win. They win because Oklahoma wins their game and because Texas probably wins their game. Every other game might be a toss-up. Kansas facing like Boston College. You don't think Boston College could beat Kansas?
Okay, well, let's not bring up Kansas.
They'd be part of it.
No one's talking about Kansas.
What about Kansas State? Kansas State couldn't beat NC State. NC State couldn't beat Kansas State.
Yeah, no, look, there's definitely some toss-up games.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they'd crush the ACC.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I just hate that Clemson has this easy path year in and year out where they're just really not being challenged. And I mean, you saw it, right? I mean, when me and my brother were talking about the game, the one reason why I chose Ohio State was because like Clemson lost to Notre Dame. And I don't care if it was with their backup quarterback. I don't know. Like, Notre Dame's a really good college football team. I don't think they're in that top tier, and you saw it again. What about Notre Dame? Is their playoff life even more awkward now? I mean, there's already talk that they should never be put in again because they constantly get blown out on that stage. Yep. And yet here we sit, and it happened once again. And the problem is, I would not have put anybody in over them. I actually did think that they deserved to be there.
I would have put Texas A&M in over them, but it's fine.
Yeah, they could get their ass kicked by Alabama again?
You were going to definitely get one blowout in this playoff era, all guaranteed. And it was going to be the 1-4 matchup because nobody's as good as Alabama. It doesn't matter who you put in that fourth spot. Alabama was going to win that game by double digits.
Yeah, that's the other thing that everybody needs to accept about the playoffs. We talk about the haves and the have-nots. There are always going to be blowouts. The number one team on, not always, but the vast majority of years is going to be significantly better than the number 4 team. And so when you talk about now some people have used that to say, well, then why would we expand the playoff? Like, because if you already have this top-heavy nature, what are you doing by expanding the playoffs? I think that the key thing to highlight there is the reason why expanding the playoff is attractive and works is that although the number one team will still be most years leaps and bounds better than all those other teams, number 4 through 8 are incredibly close, and those would be really exciting games. And then maybe you get the odd upset here or there. So I still think that this whole year has really reinforced the need for expansion, but don't expect that to necessarily create much more intriguing semifinal matchups because it's why it's so tough to judge Alabama coaches
and their players.
When are they ever on an even playing field with everybody? Like who wouldn't want in their business, no matter what that business is, who wouldn't want to walk into every single day knowing that you just flat out have more talent? Like, objectifiably, you can say, look at this, quantifiably, I have more talent than you do. And when you bring that to bear, it's tough to stand against. And what sucks is now you got Alabama and Ohio State playing for national championship. You look at the recruiting rankings. Those two classes are both record-settingly good. It looks like this could be par for the course for the next few years. I just love that all these Alabama fans were actually mad that it was 31-14.
Proved your point.
My Alabama group text was like freaking out. Like, we just completely checked out in the second half. I can't believe we allowed 14 points. I can't believe we only scored 31, blah, 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 blah. They have no perspective at all. All right, when we get back, you know what time it is. It's time to talk about the best team in the NBA. It's time to talk about a top 5 player in the NBA. I'm talking about the Pelicans and Brandon Ingram next here on OTBOT.
OTBOT. Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, for the Monday edition of Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going back to campus. We're going at the original coffee shop in Baton Rouge. That's right, Highland Coffees on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. It's Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back, OTB OT. T-Bob, Musso, Danny hanging out with you. Musso saying during the break there, so Freeman from Cincinnati's gaining obviously steam. He's supposed to interview, I think, today for that LSU DC job. But Barry Odom is the other name emerging.
Those look like the top two.
Okay.
Per all reports.
I actually like both those names. Now, it's weird because I don't... Well, to be fair, my surface... My knowledge of both is very surface level. I think that I think what's weird is during the break, Musso, you brought up that Odom feels like a retread. Like, let's say you miss on Freeman, then you hire Odom. Then maybe, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, that could be the perception from some. And I mean, it's, we missed on the young coach and, we go back. But I mean, Odom's only 44, so he's not super old.
No.
He's had good defenses at Mizzou in 2015 when he was he spent most of his coaching career at Missouri, as a matter of fact. But it'd be interesting. They made strides at Arkansas, big strides at Arkansas. Their defense was.
Well, they played way over their head. I mean, they had walk-ons all over the place.
But see, that's more of what I respect that more than people with Derek Mason when that was the argument. Well, he gets a lot out of his players, and what can he do with LSU's talent? Well, he wasn't getting a lot out of his players at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Barry Odom is the guy you should be making that argument for because Arkansas had damn near nobody on defense, and they're out there shutting teams down, forcing turnovers, flying around, and playing hard.
Yeah, and even
he got the most out of lack of talent.
And that's probably actually why Odom's resume is going to be a bit hard to judge if you try to approach it from a pure statistical standpoint, because given that, he went to Mizzou, and as we looked up his resume, his entire resume has basically been at Mizzou. He's used to that. He's used to not having the most talented guys and having to elevate their level of play. And what did we say the most damning thing about Pelini was? Is that he did the polar opposite, right? That how you judge any coach is not necessarily the results, but it's when we look at what we believe their talent level to be, are they making that situation better or worse? Pelini exacerbated it. It looks like Odom causes his players to play above their head. So, yeah, it does become exciting then when you think, okay, what happens then if you give him the talent and the resources that an LSU would be able to provide? And then obviously with Freeman, I mean, his defenses have been very good at Cincinnati. It was a lot of fun watching those guys really beat up on Georgia the other day. I mean, you know what? Credit to, I know a lot of people probably have preconceived notions about JT Daniels. But I thought he was pretty tough as nails in that game because JT Daniels got killed the other night. I mean, Cincinnati was murdering this dude, and he stayed strong and managed to find a way to win. But still, Cincinnati looked really good, and Freeman just looked so creative in how he was confusing that Georgia protection, constantly getting to Daniels. The talent of Georgia just won out in the end. It's also a little crazy. It's actually a bit of a slight against Kirby Smart that that game was even as close as it was.
Dude, when they punted late in the fourth quarter,
oh my God,
I thought they lost. I'm
so mad they won,
lost.
And that decision got. If only the quarterback on the 4th and 2 had read it quick and got the ball out of his hand, that would have been ball game right there. But yeah, that was disappointing because I don't think you should be rewarded for punting in that situation. But maybe I'm wrong there. But I did see a fascinating thing where it was like the percentage of blue chip prospects on a roster. If you look at the past 4 recruiting cycles, and I think Alabama and Ohio State both have 80%, which they're the first teams ever to, I think, crack that threshold. But like right behind them is Georgia. So like at a certain point, Bulldog fans have to start demanding more out of Kirby Smart. And he's been great if you're just looking in a vacuum at the pure numbers. But but the bar you're trying to reach is not greatness in terms of general college football. It's greatness in terms of the elites, in terms of the blue chip teams like the Ohio States and the Alabama. So it's kind of wild that Cincinnati is even so close. Scone is overrated. Said Kirby Smart is not a good coach. I mean, it's
he struggles in game.
Yes, he has
not
a little
great
bit
in-game coach.
That's what I would say. He has a little bit of Coach Miles in him. Where look, being a head coach, you could argue that the on-the-field stuff is almost under 50% of the job. Kirby Smart is great in all other respects, in recruiting and motivating, all these sorts of things. His game day decisions probably leave a bit to be desired, and he's still got to figure out just kind of what he wants that identity to be offensively. With how JT Daniels has played, the fact that who's old boy that was starting at the beginning of the year, the walk-on?
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, they tried to make us fall in love with Stetson Bennett the fourth. The fact he ever had the job is kind of wild. All right. I got distracted. I wanted to talk about the Pelicans there because, look, man, you got 4-2 Pels tonight going against the 4-2 Pacers. And the guy I want to talk about that's blown my mind over these 2 weeks that I've been out is Brandon Ingram. I love Zion. Zion's going to be a ton of fun. Zion's awesome to watch. Like, I don't know if y'all been watching, but as soon as he get the ball, have you ever seen a player that is just a missile to the rim as soon as he touches the ball? And it's so quick. The spin move is wild, how unstoppable it is. You shouldn't be able to move like that at that size. Even though he barrels towards the basket at 100 miles an hour, he is not reckless. He avoids contact, avoids charges. So Zion's super fun. He's averaging 20 and 8. His explosiveness seems to be back. I'm happy for Zion. I'm glad to watch Zion, but Zion Williamson is not the best player on this team. And it's not even close. It's Brandon Ingram. And it's wild just how good Ingram has been. And look, I don't think that you can overstate how what an advantage having Brandon Ingram is for a Zion Williamson. It takes all the pressure, all of him, off of him. Zion doesn't have to be transcendent now, okay? He gets to develop. He also gets to avoid being the main focus of the opponent's defensive pressure. So, like, the load is lightened off of his back. And when I look at Brandon Ingram, I look at how you got him. The value of the Anthony Davis trade continues to astound me. When you have your superstar force his way out in the manner that Anthony Davis did, you are supposed to lose all leverage, right? And let's be clear, the Pelicans did not have a ton of leverage because Anthony Davis demanded that they find a suitor. So normally in that situation, you have to pinch your nose and you have to swallow a bad trade almost like you're taking bad medicine. What you're not supposed to do is to get a perennial all-star in return. And that's what Brandon Ingram looks like right now. Like, y'all think I'm being hyperbolic, and maybe I am. But I know last year's his first all-star game. It already feels like he's 1,000% going to be an all-star again this year. But, I mean, you could be talking about a player. If we just look at his physical skill set, his growth over the years, the level at which he's operating now, are you looking at a top 10 player in the NBA in Brandon Ingram? Does that sound crazy today? Maybe to some it does, but I don't know, man. He's averaging 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's basically at a steal and a block per game. He's shooting 42% from 3. This is from a guy with a 7'2" wingspan that is your wing player. Have y'all seen him on this mid-range? He's unstoppable. You cannot block his shot. He's too long. He's not missing. I mean, Brandon Ingram is a perennial all-star. And the fact that you have him is unbelievable. Just like I love all-stars. I love All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. If I were to make a trade, that's what I would trade for All-Star Toyota. So go there today for all of your vehicular needs. If you're shopping for new cars, it's finally time. Look at the great new 2021 deals they have. The Tundra's fantastic. Cannot recommend the Sienna and the minivan enough. In fact, Brandon Ingram gives me the same feelings that the minivan does. All-star performance out of both. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. But for real, man, the value that Ingram's bringing the Pelicans right now is absurd. And I know there's some talk about how, the Pelicans have to shoot it better, or the Pelicans are bottom 5 in scoring right now. I don't give a damn about offensive statistics in terms of team stats. I witnessed the Pelicans team be top 5 in pace, top 5 in offensive scoring, top 5 in all these categories over the last few years. And you know what it led to? Nothing. It led to disappointment. It led to anger. It led to horrible defense. I would much rather win in the way you are now with defense than I would in the way you were then. So, B.I., you are the leader of this team. And then you have all these great pieces around. You got Zion. I like how Bledsoe's playing right now. Lonzo's still a bit of a mixed bag, but on the whole, very good. And then Steven Adams in the middle. We got to go, so we don't have time right now. We'll expound on Adams at another time. But, man, the presence that he brings, averaging a double-double. He's got great vision. The offense can run through him. He's that rim protector. I mean, he's massive. Also, y'all, he is just one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. And how about this? When he gets the ball, he will finish 65% from the field for Steven Adams. So tonight, huge test for the Pellies. 4-2 going against the 4-2 Pacers. Flock up. Brandon Ingram, continue to write your legend. We're all hyped over here, man. All right, closing out OTB next when we get back.
OTB OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The winner is the dog with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off MSRP. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Hello? What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up! Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks.
Mario Jerez here, wishing everybody a happy new year from all of us at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Tune into After Further Review Monday, January 4th as Matt Moscona is back in the host chair. AFR Monday at 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You know that I got it. Yeah. You know that I got it. Yeah. All this game up in my pocket. Bet that you can stop it. You know that I got it.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Traps look great. Oh, yeah. Am I lying here? Do my traps look good, Danny? Yeah, thumbs up from Danny, and he is our resident musclehead. I was talking about, so apparently that incredible all-star segue I had last segment, it was supposed to be Donaldson Glass and Body Read. Yeah. Bill Wilson says, and that habit is Musso yelling in your ear pivot. You actually don't do a lot of the ear talking, ever.
No, I could. Would you like me to? I don't know how you'd react to it. That's why I don't do it.
No, I'm pretty good with it.
Okay.
If you ever want to, it's how it all used to be done at L constantly.
Okay, cool.
For sure. So I mean, I'm down. But no, he didn't yell. He gave me this look though, and I was like, I'm screwing something up. I know I'm messing something up. So go to Donald's with somebody for all your car stuff. If you get in an accident, you already know dgbauto.com. One comment to get to before we go. Bernard Hinault says, coaching's a big part. Ole Miss and teams like that shouldn't even be on the field of LSU. We have the fourth most talented roster in the college football. Why can't Coach O develop these high recruits? So, okay, there's a lot to get to there. I don't think that you have the fourth most talented roster in college football, especially not after all the departures, right? That's obvious. But beyond that, I just want to use this as a vehicle to say I actually believe that talent development is one of the greatest pitches that LSU has to players right now. When you look at a Jefferson or a Cushenberry or a Patrick Queen, a Jacob Phillips, any of these guys off the national championship team. And then let's just look at last year's team, the 2020 team. Sounds kind of funny to say, doesn't it? Last year's team. Look at the freshman development in season. Guys like Kayshon Boutte, Coy Moore, Johnson, Finley. Like, I don't care who it is. The rate at which these guys grew was fantastic. And in fact, so when you do all that mental math, I do think that talent development is one of LSU's core selling points. Like, if I was recruiting, that's what I would lay out and be like, look at what we brought these guys, where they entered to where they left, and it's a feather in your cap. Look, I am very excited to be back today. This was so much fun. Thank you all for hanging out. You already know, you like and share the stream. That helps us a ton, but you're all the best. Thank you to everybody listening out there, and I look forward to doing this every day again for another year. So come hang out with us here on Off the Bench. Excellent job, Musso and Danny, as always.
OTB, OT.
Le posso offrire